So we're back once again in our zero overall league, and I'm controlling the Redwater Rams, a team that is full of only zero overalls right now. And what we're going to do over these next 25 years is rebuild this team. But how exactly are we going to be rebuilding the Redwater Rams in this zero overall league? Drafting only. We are going to be turning this team right here into Stanley Cup champions through drafting only. So it's pretty straightforward how this is going to work. We can only use players that we draft. Of course, we can trade for picks, but we can't trade for players. And of course, no free agent signings. But one thing that is going to make this very interesting is because this team is full of zero overall players, we are likely getting a top 3 pick. And what exactly does a top 3 pick mean? A top 3 player in our new league. Because the NHL is completely cooked and there's no more NHL players left, the player who is projected first overall would enter the league as the best player in the league. The player that's projected second overall would enter as the second best player, so on and so forth. So as long as we walk away with the top 3 pick, which we definitely will because we're going to be one of the worst teams in the entire league, we're guaranteed to walk away with an absolute superstar who's going to completely change our franchise. So I think I've done enough yapping. Let's go ahead and simulate season number 1 and definitely crash in the first week. Yeah, like it's 100% guaranteed to either crash or freeze on us in the first week. Like I don't even think we'll be able to get through the preseason, but if we are, we can definitely celebrate that. So while we attempt to get through season number 1 here, and I can guarantee you it is going to be very difficult, how about you subscribe to the channel? Of course, you know we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the postseason. The game just crashed on me, what a surprise, but that's neither here nor there. You know we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the postseason, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is if you subscribe to the channel right now. So how about you hit that button down below right now? I was prepared for the game to crash and freeze a couple times. Like I think we all expected that to happen. I didn't expect this to take an hour. 1 hour has passed since you last saw me, and yeah, it has taken a hot minute, but this team lost every game this season. Our zero overall team scored 6 goals, but we lost every game. So it's time for us to finally start bringing some players to the team. We can start drafting some guys. I don't really know who we're going to be bringing in, but hopefully we're going to be able to find ourselves a medium franchise potential player or something. And if we do draft somebody with medium franchise potential, we're going to trade them away because we could get a ton of assets for them. But I think I've done enough yapping. Let's simulate up to the draft, drop from 1 to 3 because of course that's going to happen, and miss out on our medium franchise potential player. Sacramento's jumping from 7 to 1. New Hampshire's going to be jumping from 8 to 2. We're receiving the 3rd overall. Everyone saw this coming. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to move back in the draft a little bit. I'm going to send the 3rd overall to the Boise Bandits. They're going to give me the 7th overall, the 37th overall, and how about you give me the 69th overall as well. So basically, we're trading Stenberg away in order to move back in the draft. We still get ourselves a medium league potential player, but we also get 2 other guys who are going to be able to jump into the lineup for this upcoming season. I think this turns out to be a good trade for us. Like, yeah, we're going to be missing out on Stenberg here, but that's not really the end of the world because with the 7th overall pick, we're still going to be able to get a pretty good prospect. Now, who is that prospect going to be? Well, it could be Belchez, and I wouldn't be against bringing Belchez to the team, and I think that's who we're going to go with. So Belchez, welcome to the team, medium league potential. You're a good young power forward. As a 72 overall, you're actually one of the highest overalls in the league. That's how cooked the league is right now. So here's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to select Markstrom here. Although he doesn't really have the highest potential and it's inaccurate scouting, we need a defenseman on the team, and I think he can fill that role for us. Medium top 4 starting as a 74 overall. Wow, we just got the greatest prospect of all time. Nah, this guy's a higher overall than Belchez. I cook there. It was inaccurate scouting, but we absolutely cook there, and we still get to walk away with this gem right here. No, we're actually cooking in the draft right now. Like, I really wasn't expecting to get that many elite players that can jump to our lineup. But yeah, things are looking very good for us now. When it comes to our next pick, Billy Beach is going to be the guy we're bringing in. I doubt he's going to have low league potential. If he does, that would be amazing. That's not going to be the case. Low top 4. At least we have a completed first pairing now. As long as you're a left defenseman. I actually didn't check. Are you a left defenseman? I'm really hoping you're a left defenseman, and it looks like you are. All right, Billy Beach, you're playing first pairing minutes. And then with the 69th overall pick that we got in that other trade, we'll bring a left winger to the team. Yeah, low top 6 potential isn't the greatest thing in the world, and we're not going to go with him. Instead, we're going to take a big risk. Please have medium league potential somehow. Medium top 9. I guess it's not that bad. At the end of the day, I'm not expecting us to bring a million superstars to the team in season number 1, but as long as we can bring in guys who might have high potential, then I think we'll be okay. So we're going to pass up on the medium top 9 and medium top 6D potential players, and we're going to take a risk again, a medium top 6 forward potential player. Is that going to be the case? medium top 9. At the end of the day, that's still not the worst selection, but we gotta try to get players who have potential. Unfortunately, that player doesn't, but hey, maybe we can flip him in the future for something. I guess we also need a goaltender, and why would I draft this guy who has medium AHL star potential? That is just stupid. So let's not do that. However, when it comes to the rest of this draft, it is a little bit cooked. So how about we take this player about 15 picks early? Does he have low league potential? Doesn't look like it, but he can at least jump into our lineup. And I think that's honestly what we're going to do with the rest of these draft picks. We're just going to select players based on the potential they could have, like price. Maybe you're going to have low league potential, and it looks like you do. So that actually ended up being a really good selection for us. And then the 7th round with our final pick in the draft, how about we go after this low league potential player right here? Actually, I don't want to do that because it's very inaccurate scouting. That's just a bad pick right there. This right here, though, that's a good pick. A medium star potential goaltender. He's the new number 1 moving forward. So when it comes to all of our unsigned players, all of them are going to be joining the team. We are going to sign every single player, and then we're going to move into next season and still be one of the worst teams in the entire league. Because cut to the chase, this team is not good enough to win quite yet. What we really need is a superstar player that we can build around. We need the 1st overall pick. We need the 2nd overall pick. And with those picks, we need a franchise potential player that I can trade away for 1 million draft picks. Yeah, even if we get a franchise potential player, more than likely we will be moving on from them. So I would like to give a big round of applause to the Redwater Rams. We don't have as many 0 overalls on the team. We still have 0 overalls, but not quite as many 0 overalls. We have 5 players on the forward core. I believe we have 3 defensemen here, and it looks like that is the case. And then in between the pipes, Sylvester is our number 1 goaltender, medium star potential, a 52 overall. You're going to lead us to the 1st overall pick, because this team is still complete buns. Let's not trick ourselves. We are going to lose a lot of games this season, but hopefully the game doesn't crash on me or freezes, because if it does, this is going to be a very, very, very long recording session for me. Like seriously, season 1 took an hour to simulate 1 season. I'm not doing that again. Now, I'm happy to say that the Redwater Rams were significantly better this season, but you do have to remember how bad we were just last season, because we finished with a 279-1 record. We scored 75 goals, but who cares about that? How on earth did the Hartford Hounds make the postseason, being 25th in the entire league? That doesn't make any sense, but hey, they made it into the postseason. Hopefully they made the most of it. When it comes to our scoring, Sod's going to lead the way with 41 points, 28 goals and 13 assists. He might be a big time goal scorer for us in the future. He is a sniper, so we're going to have to watch out for this guy. Meanwhile, Belichez, 15 goals, 24 helpers, 39 points. He's up to a 76 overall. I think he's going to be a big time performer for us in the future as well. When it comes to goaltending, Sylvester, you didn't have a team in front of you, so what did we really expect at the end of the day? But the Redwater Rams are one of the worst teams in the entire league. The Lake Erie Storm are going to be taking home the Stanley Cup. They're beating the Yukon Youngins in a 7-game series, but we're not focused on that. What we're focused on is the draft lottery and us dropping from 1 to 3, but that's not happening. We're actually just dropping to the 2nd overall pick. So I guess that's not the end of the world. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. We all know for a fact that the 1st overall pick is going to be Landon DuPont, so maybe we should try to trade for that pick. So I'm going to give up the 2nd overall pick and the 33rd overall pick. Is that going to be enough to move up to the 1st overall? They're saying no, but we're quite close in value. I'll give you the 97th overall as well. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'll give you a future 7th round pick. I'll give you a 7th round pick for 2028. Hopefully that's going to be enough to get this one done. They're saying no. I'll give you another 7th rounder. Here's the 193rd overall. Please tell me this is enough to get the deal done. It looks like it is. So we're going to be drafting Landon DuPont 1st overall, and then we're going to trade him away. Yep, we're going to be trading Landon DuPont away because he has a ridiculous amount of trade value, and we're going to capitalize on that. So the Newark Crest are going to be giving us the 2nd overall pick back. Then they're going to give me the 33rd overall. Then they're going to give me a bunch of 1st round picks that don't really have that much value. Don't really understand that considering you were one of the worst teams in the entire league. But yeah, we vibe. So Landon DuPont's going to be given up in this deal. I think this is a pretty fair trade. I mean, truthfully, I think we're kind of getting fleeced a little bit. But yeah, I think we're coming out on top. So we have the 2nd overall pick, and we're going to be using that pick. I think we're going to go with Ekblad. Granted, we don't need another left winger, so maybe we go with this guy who's projected 3rd overall, but let's not overcomplicate things. We'll go with the guy who's projected 2nd overall. He's going to have medium league potential. I still think he's going to turn out to be a great player for us. Alright, so I'm trying to pull off a little bit of a fleece here. The 33rd overall pick for the 79th and the 52nd. The Chilliwack Cougars are going to be accepting that. Nah, we fleeced them. They don't even realize what they just gave up. Now, when it comes to the 52nd overall pick, I'm not really expecting a superstar here. I mean, if we can can walk away with a low league potential player, I wouldn't be against that. Hopefully that's what we get, but it's low top 6. But that's not the main guy I was focused on, because with the 65th overall pick, we're going to be selecting a medium elite potential centerman. This guy is definitely going to develop for us. Starting off as a 71 overall, nah, he's going to be a superstar. But with the 79th overall pick that we actually traded for, now it's time we bring in another medium elite potential player. But I think that player might have just been drafted, but I guess they weren't, because we're going with this gem right here who's a goaltender. Medium elite potential is going to be brought to the team. I guess we could have gotten this 61 overall right here, but we got a guy who's a gem, and I think that means a bit more. So let the drafting continue. Semi-accurate scouting with a medium top 6 potential player. That's exactly what we're going to be bringing to the team. So we've actually done a really good job with bringing in a ton of players who have a lot of good potential. Now, low top 4 D potential isn't the greatest in the world. However, I'll take top 4 potential. Even though it's only low top 4 potential, it's still top 4 potential. So we have one more pick remaining in the draft, and how about we go off the board here? Maybe we select this guy, but I'm not going to be that crazy. Like, he's projected 300th overall. How about we go with this player right here? Maybe we get medium top 6, but I guess we're going to be receiving medium bottom 6. As I mentioned a handful of times, it always could be a lot worse. So similar to last season, we're doing the exact same thing. During the re-sign phase, we're signing all these rookies, and then we'll get ready for next season. Now, after this season, we're not going to have any 0 overall players left on the team. We're going to have a team of all players that we have drafted, and I'm actually excited to see what this team's going to be able to do in the future. Although we haven't brought in any true superstars, like any medium franchise potential players, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I shouldn't say we haven't brought any in, because technically we did bring Land Dupont in, but he was only with the organization for about all of 4 seconds before I traded him away for a bunch of future first round picks. But that's going to work out for us in the future. That's going to turn out to be an amazing move. Land Dupont can't help the team right now. Truthfully, none of these medium elite potential players can help the team right now. However, we're going to develop all these guys. They're all going to turn into superstars, and then we're going to take over the NHL. Until then, though, let's keep on being one of the worst teams in the entire league and keep on getting a top 3 pick. So another season is in the books here, and the Redwater Rams were a lot better this season. A 24-53-5 record. I think next season there's a chance we're actually not the worst team in the entire league. We scored over 2 goals per game. We're allowing 3.61, but honestly that's actually significantly better than what I thought it would be. What we really need right now is a franchise potential power forward. Give me an absolute superstar who's ready to put the puck in the back of the net. Once we have that on the team, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop us. Ekblad led the way with 71 points and 37 goals. Belchez 59 points. Low key thought you'd be better by now, but hey, I'll take a 79 overall. That's really not the worst thing in the world. He's actually still one of the highest overall players in the league. So what am I doing disrespecting, bro? Sylvester, 19 wins, 1 shot, a 911 and a 341. These numbers aren't the craziest in the world. However, look at the team in front of you. Do I really expect you to see success? Meanwhile, when it comes to the postseason, the Armadillos are going to be winning the Stanley Cup, taking down the Hartford Hounds, a team that made it into the playoffs after finishing 25th in the entire league last season. Nah, Hartford's in the middle of a come up. So it's time to simulate to the draft once again. Please tell me we're actually getting the first overall. That's not going to be the case. We're going to be dropping from 1 to 3. No surprise there. But we're also receiving the 13th overall pick from Newark. So we have 2 lottery picks to work with. Maybe we can package those up and get the first overall. Now, you know what? Maybe we don't have to trade up for the first overall, because who happens to be projected 3rd overall? Maddox Schultz. So as long as Maddox Schultz ends up being the 3rd overall pick, we are getting a superstar here. And Maddox Schultz, welcome to the team. We get our medium franchise potential playmaker. He isn't the sniper I was necessarily looking for, but hey, I'll definitely take an 83 overall. I'm not going to complain about that. An 83 overall is probably a top 10 player in this league. We also have the 13th overall still. And hold on now, maybe I should try to move up in the draft. Is there a medium elite potential sniper available? It doesn't look like it. I'm not going to lie, the rest of this draft kind of looks a little bit chopped, but we'll make it work. So with the 13th overall pick, I think we have to get aggressive. I think I should try to go after this player right here. We could select this guy who is guaranteed to have medium top 6 potential, or we could even go with this defenseman right here. He's 1 year away. I think he could be a really good player. Okay, hold on now. This is actually very difficult. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to select this player right here who might have medium elite potential. We're hoping he does. It doesn't look like it. We're trading for the 14th overall now. So I'll trade the 33rd overall and a future 3rd round pick. Hopefully that's going to be enough for the 14th overall. I don't think it will be, and it doesn't look like it is. What else do I have to throw in? I'll give you the 161st overall as well. They're still saying no to that. I really want to get this deal done because as we saw with that defensive prospect, he's only 1 season away. So that means he's probably like a 73, 74 overall. Yes, we could have taken this player with that last draft pick, but I didn't want to miss out on potentially a medium league potential player. But now we'll go ahead and bring Bloomstrand to the team. Medium top 4 potential. He's a 72 overall right defenseman. He's going to develop into an elite player for us. Like in theory, yeah, we shouldn't have gone off the board and we should have just went with the best prospect available. However, I didn't want to miss out on that player who could have potentially had medium league potential. The more medium league potential players we have on the team, the better. And speaking of a medium league potential player, we just drafted one, a 52 overall medium league potential. I'm not going to lie, Ottoson, there's actually a good chance you get traded because I feel like we have a surplus of playmakers, but we'll worry about that next season. But you know what? I don't think one medium league potential player is going to be enough. Let's bring in a second, a medium league potential goaltender beginning as a 62 overall. Saulo, I'm really hoping you can be that guy for me in the future. Now, when it comes to the rest of the draft, I don't really think we're going to be walking away with too many notable prospects. We try to go after the low league potential player, but it's just going to turn out to be a low fringe star potential goaltender, and that's it. We trade the rest of our draft picks away, but hey, we walked away with a handful of really good prospects. Our team is officially complete heading into this upcoming season. We no longer have any 0 overalls on the team, so you know what that means. We're winning 30 games this season and still missing the playoffs, and ideally still getting the top 5 pick. Now, there's not too many players for us to sign, but of course we are going to sign all 4 of these players, and once we do that, I believe our team is complete. We're no longer going to have to worry about any 0 overalls on this team. We should be set. However, there is one thing I am slightly concerned about. There's a couple guys needing extensions for next season, and I have no clue how much money those guys are going to be looking for. We might be handing out like $80 million in extensions for all I know. So all of these players are looking for extensions. And Belchez, I can only assume you're going to be looking for the most expensive deal. $9 million is crazy. I am not doing that, especially for 1 season. No, this might be even worse. $11.6 million. I don't really want to do this deal. Like, this is a terrible deal. But maybe we have to do this in order to get it done. I have no clue. I feel like if you're going to be looking for 11.6 million, I'm better off just adding a couple more seasons. Do we do 12 million for the next 8 years? This seems like a terrible deal. Like, objectively, this is very, very bad. But we're going to do 12.5 for the next 8 seasons. I already hate myself for doing that deal. Billy Beach, ain't no way I'm giving you 7.1 million. I refuse to give you 7.1 million. But then again, I do have to remember we are in a completely different universe now. 70 overall players are like the new 80 overall players. And 80 overall players are the new 90 overall players. So maybe I gotta chill a little bit. I have no clue. But some of these guys are wildin'. Like, I am not giving them these contracts. Like this guy right here, we should probably do an 8-year deal. Never mind, if we did that, he wants $8 million. We are not going to do that. We are just going to do 1 year on a 2-way contract, $800K. Yeah, we can't afford anyone here. Everyone is looking for the biggest bags imaginable, and I just can't hand out those contracts. Sylvester, I can do 2.6 for 2 years. That's not crazy. But some of these other deals, nah, things are going to get insane later on. Like, maybe trading Len Dupont away was the right decision because bro's going to be looking for ownership in the franchise. That's how much money he's going to want. Now, heading into this season, I was really hoping we wouldn't have any 0 overalls left on the team, but unfortunately, we do have 1 0 overall left. 99% of our team is complete except for 1 0 overall left defenseman, but once we replace that left defenseman, we're going to have a team of all NHL players. But even when we have a team of all NHL players, let's be completely honest with ourselves, we're still not going to be that good. So we're going to tank again for the 1st overall pick. Next season after this one, we're tanking for the 1st overall again. And then after we bring in a couple more superstar snipers, then we'll start competing. But until then, let's just keep on stacking those 1st overall picks. But then again, we can't be stacking 1st overall picks if we never even had a 1st overall pick. So let's try to get 1 1st overall pick and then stack from there. So season number 4 is officially wrapped up, and we somehow weren't the worst team in the entire league. We were 30th with a 35-39-8 record. I don't know how we weren't worse than a couple of these other teams. Like, it really makes no sense. We've been rebuilding for 3 years now, and we've been doing that through only drafting. No, that's crazy. Maddox Schultz, 73 points, and he's up to an 89 overall. When it's time for this man to sign a contract extension, it's legitimately going to be about $80 billion. Ekblad, he had 68 points this season, including 36 goals. He's up to an 85. Belchez, he's up to an 82 overall, 23 goals, 39 assists for 63 points. I'm actually terrified of signing him to a contract. Like, I know he was looking for 1 season at $9 million, but I wasn't doing one season. Sylvester, 24 wins, 2 shows, a 913, a 284. These numbers really aren't too bad. If only we could score more. The Tennessee Titans are going to be Stanley Cup champions. They're going to be taking down the Portland Pirates, but we need a miracle to happen here. We can't be dropping from 3 to 5. We need to guarantee ourselves a top 3 pick, so please somehow jump in the draft, but of course that's not going to happen. Maine's jumping from 2 to 1, Halifax is jumping from 10 to 2, Kitchener's dropping from 1 to 3, and then Redwater, well, we're going to drop from 3 to 4. So we do still have ourselves a top 5 pick, but I would have preferred the first overall. All right, shout out to the boys for doing 0 scouting whatsoever, like absolutely none here. Yeah, that's exactly what I needed. So I'm going to assume that the guy who's going first overall has franchise potential. I would have traded for the first overall pick if I knew he had franchise potential, but since it's unknown, I don't want to take the risk. And when it comes to the first overall pick, I guess he doesn't have franchise potential. You know what? Good thing we didn't trade up. So we'll simulate up to the 4th overall pick. This is the one guy I was actually low-key contemplating trading up for, but I'm kind of happy I didn't. So with the 4th overall pick, who do we want to go with? I think we just go with best player available. We'll take this guy 4th overall. He's starting off as an 82 overall. I feel like our center depth is good moving forward, but we do need to get a couple more upgrades. Okay, so we're definitely going to try to pick up these 2 players right here. I know these guys are not NHL ready. One is 1 year away. The other is also 1 year away. Okay, we're going to pick up both of them. One's a power forward, one's a playmaker. Yeah, let's go get some deals done. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. The 23rd overall, a future 3rd rounder, and a 4th rounder, which is the 99th overall for the 10th overall pick. They're saying no. How many 7th round picks is it going to take? I'll give you this 6th rounder. Is that going to be enough? They're saying no. We're quite close in value, so I guess it's just going to cost us a little bit more. Here's a future 7th round pick. Is that enough? Perfect. So we're walking away with the 10th overall, but we still have to trade for like the 12th or 14th. Okay, y'all might think I'm tweaking here, but Ottoson, I was talking about trading you away last season, and now I think it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to ship you out for the 12th overall. We're going to get a different medium league potential player with this draft pick, and they're going to be a higher overall, so we're technically better off in this deal. So although we trade away a medium league potential player, we're going to be bringing in a medium league potential player to replace him, and that replacement is going to be a higher overall. When it comes to this medium league potential player, we're looking at a 75 overall. I'll definitely take a 75 overall. And then when it comes to this other medium league potential player, I'm hoping for at least another 70 overall here, and yeah, we got a 72. So that deal turned out to be an absolute steal for us. Now we're low-key building a dynasty. Now we're not quite done with the elite drafting. Now we're going after Whitmore. Corbin Whitmore is going to be brought to the team, and he's going to be the last piece that we need in order to complete our team. A lowly potential defensive defenseman is going to be joining the lineup. He's going to be replacing our last 0 overall on the left side. Now the boys are ready to make some noise in the future, but it's going to be a lot easier to make noise once we bring another lowly potential player to the team. No, it's just been hit after hit around here. Every draft pick this season was a home run. 5 straight dingers. I'm loving what's going on. And just like that, the good times have come to an end. Belchez, how much do you want? 10.8 million. I'm going to do 8 years. I'll do 10.8 for the next 8 years. Hopefully you're going to be accepting that deal, and it looks like he is. But no, we just got fleeced. When it comes to Billy Beach, he wants 7.6 million. No, I hate that deal. I think we have to do it though, because we basically need to bring him back. I'll give this guy 2.1 million. But yeah, I do not want to give bro $7 million. What has he done to earn that contract? I have no clue. Caden Sod, I'll give you $4 million for the next 2 years. I feel like that contract's going to age really poorly for us. But yeah, Beach, I hate this deal. Like, I genuinely hate it. I think this is like the worst deal possible, but we don't really have a choice. What if I gave you an extra year and a no movement? Could we maybe save some money here? We can probably get this down to like 6.6 million. I actually lied. We'll do 6.8 million for the next 6 years. What a terrible contract. Like, this is objectively just straight buns. So after handing out all those terrible deals, let's sign all these rookies and then prepare for next season. So after just spending a ridiculous amount of money, we're about to do it again. Ekblad, how much are you looking for? 11.7. This is actually a deal I can get behind because he was a really good player for us. Maybe I'm not going to give him that no movement. I think we'll just do like 10.5 million for the next 8 seasons. I think 10.5 is a pretty fair deal for him. He's one of our best forwards right now. If we have to trade him away in the future, we're going to be able to do so. When it comes to this other medium league potential player, 8.6 for 1 season. Yeah, that's not happening. Also, I don't know why this guy's still with the franchise. When I started my team off with 0 overalls, we were just given bro, and he is somehow stuck around even though I've never given him a contract extension. We are about to hit year number 5 and he somehow is still on the team. Was bro signed to a 5-year entry-level contract? I have no clue, but he is somehow still here. Also, when it comes to everyone else, I'm not giving any of these guys the bags they're asking for, like $9 million here, $9 million there. That's just not happening. 950k on the other hand, I can do that. Sweetland, how much do you want? 875k. I think that's a great deal. Those are contracts I can work with. But yeah, $8 million for a 60 overall, that's not happening. Also, when it comes to our medium league potential backup goaltender, I'll do 1.1 million for the next 2 years. I think that's pretty good for him. Now, heading into this season, I don't think we have to worry about our forward core anymore. There's no 60 overalls here anymore. When it comes to our defense, though, yeah, we have a couple 60 overalls, 3 to be exact. We have 0 80 overalls on our defensive core. We have to fix that moving forward. Meanwhile, when it comes to goaltending, I think we can rely on this medium league potential goaltender. Hino is low-key turning into something. I think he can be up to like an 83, 84 overall goaltender in just a number of seasons. But after taking a look at our team, I want to see some of the other teams in the league. Like, who exactly won the Stanley Cup last season? I know it wasn't that long ago that the Armadillos won a Stanley Cup, and when comparing our forward cores, I would definitely put ours ahead of theirs. When it comes to defense, though, yeah, they're definitely better defensively than us, but we can definitely score goals with the best of them. I can't recall who won a Stanley Cup last season. I do know the Portland Pirates did make it to the Stanley Cup final, so they're definitely a good team, so we'll take a quick look at them, and they got a handful of 70 overalls, but they don't have any 80 overalls, and we have a couple 80 overalls, so I think we can put pressure on this team. They even have 60 overalls in the defensive core. No, we actually might be one of the best teams in the entire league now. When it comes to the last season's Stanley Cup winners, it was the Tennessee Titans. And when looking at this team, I think we can go player for player here. I think we can hold our own with the Tennessee Titans. So we actually might be able to go on a run here. Could we potentially compete for a Stanley Cup this season? You never know. So I had pretty high expectations for Redwater heading into this season. And boy, did we fail to live up to those expectations. 25th in the entire league, a 39, 38, and 5 record. But you know what? I shouldn't really say we failed to live up to those expectations, because when it comes to offenses, we had the second best offense in the entire league, which we rightfully should. When it comes to our defense, that was one of the worst in the entire league. So if we can just bring in a couple more good defensemen, we solve all of our problems. This team will be ready to take over. Maddox Schultz was dominating. Ekblad was dominating. Belchez, I'm not 100% sold on you. There is actually a universe in which we trade you away. I feel like we need to bring in some right wingers because right now we have no right wingers. Also, if we could trade you away for like an elite potential defenseman or something, then that could be the move. When I say trade him away for an elite potential defenseman, I mean trade for the draft pick that would have the medium elite potential defenseman, but you get the point. Portland's winning a Stanley Cup. I feel like Redwater is only 1 or 2 years off from winning a Stanley Cup. Not just making the playoffs, but winning a Stanley Cup. When it comes to the draft lottery results, nothing changed, so we're just going to walk away with the 8th overall pick. I feel like I can work with that. So here's what I'm thinking. We need to acquire the 4th overall pick and the 5th overall pick. Harry Dowd, I'm not really too sure what your potential is. I feel like you could have franchise potential and it might make sense to trade for you, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to trade for the 4th overall pick and the 5th overall pick, and then hopefully we can turn those 2 assets into something. Now, what are we actually going to trade away here? I think we're going to ship out this prospect right here, 80 overall at 22 years old. He's looking for a massive extension that I don't really want to pay, so I think we're going to ship him out. It's going to be worth it, especially if we're able to walk away with the right winger, so I'm definitely not against making a deal like this. I'll throw a 4th rounder into the deal, and hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference, and it looks like it is. Now we're going to trade for the 5th overall pick, and then we're going to be able to walk away with all the prospects we want. So what we're going to do in order to get the 5th overall is I'll trade the 8th overall and the 40th overall. There we go. We'll keep that deal as simple as possible. So with the 4th overall pick, we're going to be bringing this player to the team. Now, I'm just assuming he has medium league potential. I'm not 100% sure, and it looks like he does have medium league potential. Now, when it comes to our next prospect, I'm also assuming he has medium league potential, and he does. So both those deals were actually relatively risky, but we got 2 medium league potential players, one being a right wing sniper, and then the other, of course, being a 76 overall offensive defenseman. I think he can play some big minutes for us in the future. And when I say the future, I mean right now, because the future is now. So we're going to make another trade here, and I think this is actually a pretty good one. We're moving back from the 22nd overall pick to the 50th. We're also going to be picking up a future 2nd round pick in the process, but I think it's going to turn out to be a really good deal, especially with who we're getting with the 50th overall. Because when it comes to the 50th overall pick, we're going to go for this player right here. He could have medium league potential. He also might be a gem. Wow, that was a huge miss. No, that might be the biggest letdown of the video so far. Now, after that disaster we saw with the 50th overall pick, it was just miss after miss after that. No more notable players. No, that's heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, we did get 2 good medium league potential players. Hopefully both of those guys can develop for us, and hopefully we can re-sign both of them to reasonable contracts in the future, because that's the one problem we're having right now. Everyone's looking for $1 billion. Like Maddox Schultz, I am terrified for how much you're going to be looking for. Like, let's just take a look at these low 70 overall players and see how much they're looking for. Okay, this guy only wants 1.7 million. That's pretty reasonable. What about this player right here? He wants 1.8 million. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be as concerned as I actually thought, because these deals really aren't that bad. We're just looking at like 1.1 million. So maybe Maddox Schultz is only going to look for $20 million and not $30 million per year. So this is a moment I've been terrified for a long time now. Maddox Schultz, how much do you want? Okay, this isn't quite nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Of course, you're getting a no movement. You're one guy that basically has to stick around for the entire video. We're going to be doing 15 million for the next 8 years. I guess it's going to be a little bit less than that. Could we do 14.4 for the next 8 years? I think that's going to be the contract. 14.4 for the next 8 years. Maddox Schultz is sticking around. Bloomstrand, how much are you looking for? 8.5 million. Not a huge fan of that. Sod, how much are you looking for? You're 73 overall. You want 4.4 million. Okay, I'm starting to not like a lot of these deals. 1.1 for Igor, I can definitely do that. But yeah, I think we'll be holding off of basically everyone else, including Price. Like, how much does he want? 1.5. I guess I can actually do that. That's not terrible. I guess we also have to extend both of our goaltenders. Sylvester wants $5 million. Don't really want to do that, especially since you're not the starter moving forward. But maybe I can do that because our other goaltender is looking to sign a cheap contract. So yeah, I can give you $5 million for 1 season. I will save a little bit of money though. 4.6 for 1 season. Welcome back to the team. We brought in Bergevin over the offseason to be an elite sniper, and I'm immediately playing him on the top line because I want him to develop into a superstar. When it comes to our top 6, I feel like we have some good depth here, but I don't know, I'm just really questioning this team. But I shouldn't be questioning them as much as I am, because at the end of the day, the NHL is a completely different league now. As I said, 80 overalls are the new 90s, 70s are the new 80s. The overalls across the league mean a lot more than they have in the past. When it comes to goaltending, I think we have our future superstar goaltender. Matty Hino is up to a 78 overall. I think we can rely on him to be the number 1 this season. But yeah, I am just very concerned with this team moving forward. We don't really have good line chemistry across the board, and I feel like that's going to hurt us. Another thing that is certainly going to hurt us that I haven't mentioned so far, I can't use John Cooper as my head coach. Because I removed every NHL team, I removed every head coach as well. So there are no A+ overall head coaches. The best that we can work with are like A and A- head coaches, and I do think that is negatively impacting the team too much. But at the end of the day, we did bring in a good right wing sniper. Let's see if he's going to be able to score some big time goals for us, and let's see if we can make the playoffs. Now, Redwater, I was unfamiliar with you guys. I knew it was only a matter of time before we made the postseason, but a 62-19-1 record was something I wasn't expecting. We had the best offense in the entire league. We had the best defense in the entire league. Nah, this team is ready to absolutely cook. Maddox Schultz, Ekblad, Whitfield, Bergevin, all of these guys just completely locked in this season. We absolutely dominated. No, we're winning a Stanley Cup. We are definitely bringing one home here. No one's stopping us. We have the Boise Bandits in the first round. We will destroy them. No, like the boys are absolutely flying right now. We are scoring 1 million goals. We are not allowing any goals. We are locked in. It's our first postseason appearance, and we are looking to win a Stanley Cup. We are down 3-1. There's no way we could have predicted this, except we absolutely should have expected this. It kind of makes sense that we lose in the first round, but now that I'm talking about us losing in the first round, we're going to make it to Game 7, and then something is going to happen in Game 7. We might win, we might lose, but since I said we might win first, we're probably going to lose, but now that I've said that, we're probably going to win. Who knows what's going to happen here? How about we just simulate? We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second period, no more goals are going to be scored. So the third period is going to decide this one. And in the third period, no one's scoring. Okay, apparently I know nothing. I can't predict what's going to happen. There's going to be a goal scored eventually. When it's going to be scored, I have no clue. But it looks like McKinnon's going to be picking up an overtime winner. Not Nathan McKinnon, but something McKinnon. I forget what his name is. It's like Dave or Dale or something like that. He's picking up a big goal. It might be David McKinnon. I have no clue. But yeah, I should put a bit of respect on bro's name. He just picked up an OT winner in Game 7. It was Dylan McKinnon. So show it to bro. He picked up a big goal. So the New Hampshire Saints are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup in 7 games, but we finally made the postseason. We took the next step. I'm very excited to see what the future of this team is going to look like. Offensively, we were great in that series. We got to work on our defense. Once we improve our defense, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop us. We're going to have the best offense, the best defense, and the best goaltending in the entire league. We are going to be a step above the rest. Now, I have no clue if a deal like this is even possible, but I really want to walk away with the 3rd overall. It costed us 3 years of first round picks and a young left winger, but I think it's going to work out for us because now that we've moved into the top 3, we're going to be able to get another right winger. Now, we've been desperately needing right wingers on this team for a long time. Schofield's going to be brought in. He's going to be a great player. He's an 81 overall that's immediately going to be jumped into the lineup. I believe our top 6 is officially set moving forward. Honestly, at this point, I think we just have to start bringing in a bunch of really good depth pieces, and if we're able to do that, then we're going to be looking at a million Stanley Cups in the future. And it turns out things are going to keep on getting better because now we're getting a medium league potential prospect. He's starting off as a gem. I don't even care that he's a grinder because what we're going to end up doing is flipping bro next season. We're going to end up walking away with another medium league potential player. The sky's the limit for us as long as we continue to draft well. Okay, apparently we just don't miss on draft picks anymore. Topi Rask is going to be brought to the team, a 56 overall. We'll package him up with the other medium league potential player we drafted next season. We'll get another top 3 pick and another elite player. Oh yeah, by the way, here's an elite goaltender from Russia, medium league potential. He was a gem as well. The only thing that hurts him is he's 20 years old already, so I don't really know what he's going to develop into. Now to finish off the draft, we're going to get one more lowly potential player. He was a gem as well, Hugo Lalonde. Let's see what you turn into. So like usual, we're going to be signing all of these players to their entry level contracts. They're going to play either some minutes in the NHL or the AHL. And then after we sign all of them, there are a couple other players that need to be signed to extensions. So here's the 5 players that we need to give extensions to, starting with Bloomstrand. He wants 7.9 million. I'm not really sold on him, but we don't have any other choice. So I guess he's going to be coming back to the team. I'll do 7.2 million for the next 5 years. I feel like that's an overpayment, but we need him on the team, so I'm going to have to give him that contract. Saad, I refuse to give you 8.1 million, so I'll just qualify you as an RFA. Yeah, a lot of these other deals aren't going to be happening. Our bottom 6 might look a little bit weak heading into next season because I just refuse to give all of these players right here the big deals. It's just not happening. So I'm qualifying all of them, and then whatever happens, happens. So we got some big extensions to hand out. 3 medium league potential players need to be brought back to the team. We'll start with Whitfield. He's looking for about $12 million. I do want to save some money here, and I think I'm going to have to give him a no movement because we basically have to save every penny possible moving forward. So I'll do 9.8 million for the next 8 seasons. That's going to be a really good contract. Moving on over to Whitmore, I'm scared he's going to be looking for like 15 million, but 10.3 really isn't that bad. Maybe we can get this down to the $9 million range, and we can do 9.5 for the next 4. So Whitmore's going to be coming back as well. McGillney, how much are you going to be looking for? Please tell me it's less than 10, and it's 7.2 for 1 season, but I'd prefer to do a multi-year deal, so I'm going to hold off. Pakarainen, you can be a really good 4th line player for me as long as you're willing to sign a reasonable contract, and 2.8 is very reasonable, so welcome back to the team. And then I think with everyone else, we're just going to be looking at a bunch of cheap deals. That's definitely not happening. You're not getting 5.7 from me. When it comes to this defenseman, that is not happening. Okay, apparently we're not going to be signing players to cheap deals. I didn't realize everyone was going to be looking for the absolute bag even when they're only 70 overalls. To be fair though, I kind of expected this. Matty Hino is also going to be needing a big contract extension. He's looking for $10 million, but truthfully, bro has earned every penny, so I'm willing to bring him back at this price tag. I'll do 8.8 million for the next 4 years, and he's going to be returning. Meanwhile, Sylvester, more than likely you're going to be walking. Now, it appears that a couple of our RFAs are going to be accepting their qualifying offers, so that's actually a good sign, so maybe our bottom 6 won't be nearly as bad. That was really the only thing I was concerned about, but now that I know some of these guys are accepting qualifying offers, we'll be perfectly fine. So last season, we finished at the top of the league as the best team during the regular season. We were able to take home the President's Trophy, but the job is not done. This team still needs to win a Stanley Cup. We still have a ton of years in front of us, but 1 Stanley Cup is not good enough. And neither is 2, neither is 3, neither is 4, neither is 5. 10 Stanley Cups. That's what I'm striving for with this Redwater Rams team. 10 Stanley Cups over the next handful of years. Is that going to be possible? I have no clue. I guess only time will tell. Now, I think as long as we can keep our top 6 around, we're going to continue to be the best team in the entire league. We're first after winning 60 games. We scored 3.78 goals per game, only allowed 2.35. All we need is a lethal top 6. good goaltending, and a couple good defensemen. Outside of that, I think we're perfectly fine. Like, I really don't think we need to worry about having an elite bottom six or anything. Like, those guys aren't going to be that important to the team. Billy Beach had 41 points this season. We're paying him quite a bit of money though, and honestly, it might be time to move on from him because I don't really know if he's worth the contract. Meanwhile, look at Manny Hino. This man is going to go down as the greatest goaltender of all time. A 923 and a 209 with 8 shutouts and 45 wins. Nah, bro is him. He is an absolute dog. We're taking on the Portland Pirates in the first round. As long as he can step up here, well, we're going to be Stanley Cup champs. Because keep it $1.50 with me. Who is realistically beating us in a 7-game series? Probably the Portland Pirates, because we dropped game number 1 and game number 2. This is what I get for yapping. Yeah, we're going to fall to the Portland Pirates, aren't we? We've won back-to-back games. It better be 3 straight games. We can't afford to lose game 5. We're actually going to lose in game 6. And I don't even want to jump into game 6. We're just going to simulate it and see what happens. Are we dropping game 6? No, we are not. We're jumping into game 7. Game 7 is going to be deciding this one. Can we get past a wild card team in the first round? I have no clue. We weren't able to last season. Maybe we can this season. We're exchanging goals in the first period. We're picking up another one in the second. Let's just play some good defense in the third and we'll be fine. And we did not play good defense. Adam Jiricek, a big time goal in the third. We need overtime to settle this one. And when the lights were the brightest, nobody scored. Okay, so the lights are even brighter now. Who's going to be picking up the OT winner? It looks like it's going to be McGillney. We're moving on to the second round for the first time in franchise history. So congratulations, Redwater. You're officially moving on to the second round, and now you get the Chilliwack Cougars to take on. Now, Chilliwack is going to be a good team if they're making it to the second round, but I'm not sure if they're quite as good as Redwater, because if Redwater plays up to their potential, they can beat everyone, and we're sweeping Chilliwack. Yeah, this team's locked in now. No more messing around for Redwater. They're going to sweep the rest of the postseason. We're taking on the Louisiana Wild Hogs next. The fact that I can remember all of these created teams is actually kind of wild. Like, I created all of these teams, all the NHL teams and all the AHL teams, and I remember all of their names. We have the Tennessee Titans in the Stanley Cup final. Can we sweep out the rest of the postseason? It doesn't look like it. This series has been tied. We're moving into game 5 and we need to take the lead, but we're not doing that. Please don't lose. Do not lose in the Stanley Cup final like this. Back-to-back sweeps. We were looking incredible. We can't go out like this. Nah, the boys collapsed. We are going out in a terrible fashion, allowing 7 goals. We were the best defensive team, by the way. And then we allowed 7 goals. That was a heartbreaking loss. For a team that was supposed to be the greatest offensive and greatest defensive, man, did we collapse when it mattered. Maddox Schultz, 26 points. Whitfield, 22. Ekblad, 22. Luckily, we have all these key players locked down, but what a heartbreaking loss. When it comes to goaltending, Matty Hino, I got nothing to say. Nothing to say whatsoever. Nobody stepped up. The offense, the defense, when the lights were the brightest, we were just blinded by the lights. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. McGillney, you were a great player, but we have to give you an extension. You're looking for too much money, so I'm going to ship you out. But on top of that, we're actually going to be moving out Billy Beach. We're just paying him way too much money right now, and I don't necessarily want to be paying him that contract. So we're going to send all of this over to the El Paso Vipers. They're going to be rejecting this deal. We'll throw in a 7th rounder, and then we're going to be able to bring the 3rd overall to the team. And that's going to be an amazing draft pick for us because we're going to be able to get a great player. But of course, we're not quite done yet because there were a couple medium league potential players that we brought to the team last season, and I said I was going to package both of them up, and now that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to try to get the 4th overall, but maybe even a future 1st round pick on top of that. If we can trade both of these guys for the 4th overall and a future 1st round pick, I think we're fleecing, and we are 1000% fleecing. But I don't think we're done quite yet. Okay, I'm not going to lie, this sucks. I didn't realize bro had franchise potential. They didn't tell me he had franchise potential. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. But when it comes to the 3rd overall pick, we're going to get this right wing playmaker. And then with the 4th overall pick, where are we going to be walking away with? A good left defenseman. So he's going to be replacing Billy Beach, basically the same overall, but one's getting paid 6.8. The other's on their entry-level contract. Now, after trading a couple medium league potential players away, we have to restock the asset pool. So how about we just draft another medium league potential player? We'll keep it simple. And just when I thought we were done with the elite potential prospects in this draft, we're going to be bringing in Dryden, a medium league potential goaltender. Right now, he's only a 47 overall, but he's 18 years old, so he still has time to develop, but he's going to have to develop really quick if he wants to be a superstar goaltender in this league. So we're left with all these RFAs. I don't really know what types of contracts they're looking for, but these contracts look a little bit too expensive. However, 1-year deals actually don't hurt us that much, so I actually will sign all of these players as long as they're willing to sign 1-year deals. If you're looking to sign a 1-year deal, you can come back to the team. If not, I might actually just release you into free agency, because yeah, I don't want to hold on to all these guys. None of them have any trade value whatsoever, so there's no point even having them on the roster. We can just release them. Connor Sweetland, I guess I can bring you back to the team for 1.8 million. That's not the worst contract in the world. But yeah, with these 3 remaining players I didn't sign, all of them are going to be released. There is no point holding on to any of you guys. You're not accepting your qualifying offers. You don't want to stick around with the franchise, so I'll let you walk. Meanwhile, Sylvester, I was expecting you were going to be looking for like $6 million, especially with your qualifying offer being 4.6 million. 1.8 for the next 2 years. That works out perfectly. Now, when it comes to extensions, I feel like Bergevin is a bit more valuable just because he's playing big top 6 minutes for us. So I do want to try to re-sign him, but he's only looking for 2 seasons. So maybe we look at our mediumly potential defenseman and see how much he's looking for. And 11.8 is actually not that bad of a deal, especially since bro is a star defenseman for us. So yeah, I'll bring him back to the team. I'll even give him a no movement. We can definitely do this. What if I give you an 8th year? If we do 8 seasons, we can do 10.6 million. And I think that's an absolute steal. Bergevin, you'll come back at a later date. But as of right now, I'm not too worried about you. And then when it comes to the rest of the team, yeah, I'm not worried about any of these guys. Salo, here's 1.3 million. You might be our backup next season. I have no clue. So last season we made all the way to the Stanley Cup final, but unfortunately we just couldn't capitalize. But now I think we can. Look at this top 6. It's all 80 overalls. We even have 2 90s here. There are no more excuses. The bottom 6 doesn't really look that bad. Our defensive core is better than any other defensive core in the entire league. Like, we have 4 80 overalls on our defensive core. There's teams out there that don't even have one. And then when it comes to goaltending, we have an 87 overall. This is by far the highest overall goaltender in the league. Nobody can compete with Matty Hino. We're ready to win a Stanley Cup. We have learned from all of our mistakes. We might even win 70 games this season. We're not messing around. So Redwater is going to sit at the top of the league once again, a 59, 19, and 4 record. Please tell me this is the season we come out on top. It's been back-to-back years of disappointment. Our 3rd straight President's Trophy. Can we finally walk away with the Stanley Cup? We have the offense, we have the defense, and we clearly have the goaltending, but is it enough to come out on top? Redwater has been looking for a Stanley Cup for a long time now. Is this the year they come out on top? It will be if everyone steps up and plays their role, but if one player doesn't, well, we're going to be a 1st round exit. So we just need everyone to play their role here. Everyone needs to pick up goals and everyone has to play defense. And as long as that happens, we will be Stanley Cup champions, maybe even 16-0 because we're already 4-0. It's a sweep over the Sacramento Sharks in the 1st round and we're moving on. So we've advanced to the 2nd round and now we're taking on the Boise Bandits. I feel like this team was in the Stanley Cup final not that long ago. Maybe I'm yapping though, I have no clue, but we're taking them on the 2nd round here and they're putting up a bit of a fight against us. We've split the series so far. Game number 5 is going to be a very important one and we're going to win game 5. Can we close it out in game number 6 or do we need game 7? It looks like all we need is game number 6. We're moving on to the conference finals, 8 wins away from a Stanley Cup, but can we take down the Fort Wayne Outlaws next? I don't see why not. We have the defense, we have the offense, we have the goaltender, we have everything to win. We just need to step up, and that's exactly what we did in game number 4. Can we do it again in game 5? Back-to-back shutouts. We're moving on to the Stanley Cup final. We are 4 wins away, and all we have to do is beat the Brooklyn Bots. If you beat the Brooklyn Bots, you are Stanley Cup champions. Just win 4 more games, but we're going to make it difficult. We split the first 4. Game number 5 is the most important one. We're winning 8-1. Close it out right here, right now. Do not go to game number 7. We're Stanley Cup champions. The Redwater Rams, Stanley Cup champions in year number 8. It's taken us a while, but now the dynasty begins. The Redwater Rams have finally done it. Stanley Cup champions. And I think this is the first of many, because basically this entire team is coming back for next season, or at least all the important pieces are coming back for next season. There's nothing really to worry about. We have goaltending, we have scores, we have defenders, we have everything you can need in this 0 overall league. Well, we have everything except for Bergevin, because unfortunately we just don't have the cap space to bring him back to the team. So I guess we're going to have to trade him at the draft here. Hopefully there's another really good right winger that we can bring in to be his replacement. I'm honestly surprised that Bro never developed. Like, he's been getting 1st line minutes for a long time now. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't have developed. We're going to try to make a play for the first overall pick because Riverside is willing to move that draft pick. I don't really know if we can make a very good package though. Like, this is kind of the best thing that we can give up without giving up way too much. Hopefully they're going to be saying yes. They're saying no to that. What more can I throw into this deal? I guess I can give you a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. And it looks like it is. So we're walking away with the first overall pick. Unfortunately, there isn't a franchise potential player here. However, there is a really good power forward, and I think we're going to be able to convince this power forward to become a right winger, and I think he can be a very good right winger for us in the future. And speaking of right wingers, how about we bring in this medium top 6 potential prospect with the 23rd overall pick? He's a 66 overall right now. He's only 18 years old. As long as he develops, I think he can be a good bottom 6 player for us. And speaking of players who I think could be really good for us, I believe we got an elite goaltender with the 64th overall pick, and it looks like we did. Eckford's beginning as a 60 overall. He was a gem as well, so the sky's the limit for this kid. And it looks like the elite potential players are going to continue into the 5th round, and not only are we getting another elite potential player, but we're getting another gem here. Sergei Mironov, I need you to be an elite defensive defenseman, turn into the greatest defensive defenseman of all time. Even if you can't produce it all offensively for me, become the greatest defensive player of all time. So definitely not some unrealistic expectations for him. So we have $11 million in cap space, and there's 3 players on expiring contracts, but I don't think any of these players are coming back to the team. They're all looking for way too much money. I just can't do this. So we're going to be losing 3 key players, except Chase Surkan can come back for $2.6 million. And you know what? Bednarz, I think I can bring you back to the team. But what if we did 1 season? If we did 1 season, you want 3.1 million? I'll do 4.3 for 1 season. You're coming back, so that means the only player we're losing is Price, and I can live with that. Now, I feel like extensions are going to start catching up to us here. Schofield's now looking for one, and can we afford to bring him back to the team? Probably not. So more than likely, we're going to be riding out his contract and trading him away. And then with everyone else, I'm not really too worried. We're going to be losing a lot of players. Like, we just don't have the money to be re-signing all these guys. Our bottom 6 is already terrible, but now our top 6 is slowly taking a hit. That's not a great sign for the future. Also, Qdobin, I will sign you to a 2-way contract if you're interested in that, and it looks like you are. $900K for the next 2 years. Welcome back. So the Redwater Rams are finally Stanley Cup champions, but this is the beginning of the dynasty. We are going to start taking over the league. If you thought we made a statement last season, wait until you see what we do this season. The team is better from top to bottom. We have 2 80 overall goaltenders. Let me just show you the rest of the goaltenders in the league. Like, I just want to remind you, we have 2 80 overall goaltenders on our team. Not 1, but 2 80 overall goaltenders. How many 80 overall goalies do you think there are in the league? I'm guessing less than 10. There might be less than 10 80 overall goaltenders in the league. And you know what? There's actually more 80 overall goaltenders than I thought. There are actually quite a few 80 overall goaltenders. So maybe I was gassing up our goaltending tandem a little bit too much. Granted, look at the price tag for some of these players. Bro is getting 18.2 million. We're paying our man 8.8. So yeah, clearly we know a thing or two about managing the salary cap. But yeah, I kind of look like an idiot there. I was thinking there was only going to be like 5 80 overall goaltenders and we had 2 of them. No, there's actually a fair amount of 80 overall goalies. Now, Redwater, you have some explaining to do because you didn't win the President's Trophy, nor did you finish 2nd in the entire league, or 3rd, or even 4th. 5th in the entire league. Now, what are we doing here? A 51, 26, and 5 record? I need you boys to lock in. Y'all are not stepping up enough for me. There is no reason we shouldn't be winning the President's Trophy every season moving forward. This was an absolute disgrace. One of the biggest disgraces of all time. Like, what are we talking about here? Hino, you were amazing once again, but unless you win a Stanley Cup, this season is a wash. 5th in the entire league. What are we talking about here? Like, we're supposed to be entering our dynasty building years, and you're 5th in the entire league. There is absolutely no excuses whatsoever. Unless you go 16-0, this season is a failure in my eyes, and it looks like we're not going 16-0. Nah, you boys are frauds. I mean, at the end of the day, we did make it to the 2nd round and we are moving on. We're taking on the Boise Bandits next. We've already won 1 game against them. Can we make it 2 more victories? It doesn't look like it. So it's a best of 3 moving forward. Game number 5 being the most important, and it looks like Redwater's coming out on top. Can we close it out here in game number 6? Yes, we can. So we're moving on to the conference finals. I was about to say this is where Redwater belongs, but that's actually a lie because they belong in the Stanley Cup final. We are looking to make it to the Stanley Cup final every season season moving forward. No more disappointments. No more losing in the conference finals, first round or second round. It's Stanley Cup or bust every season, and we're back in the Stanley Cup final. Redwater is looking to win their second Stanley Cup in a row. We're taking on the Brooklyn Bots, and I know for a fact we can hold our own with this franchise, but they're putting some pressure on us. Once again, it's a best of 3 moving forward, and we're dropping game 5. Hold on now. We have a better offense and a better defense than them. Why are we collapsing? It's time to get the offense going once again. It's time to get the defense going as well. Where is this team when it matters most? Apparently they were on vacation, alright. Apparently half the team was in Cancun. Nah, what are we doing here, boys? Redwater, you should be ashamed of yourselves. We have made it to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals now, but we've only walked away with 1 Stanley Cup. This was a disaster, an absolute disaster from the boys. What do you mean we're not winning the Stanley Cup? Yeah, we gotta make some changes. Schofield, I want to keep you on the team. Whitfield, I want to keep you on the team as well. But when it comes to our defense, there's some players I'm definitely looking to move on from. Bloomstrand, I'm not sure if you're worth your contract. I mean, 7.2 million is definitely not the worst in the world. But Markstrom, yeah, I'm moving on from you. You will be traded away, because 12.5 is ridiculous. I don't know why I ever gave you that contract. Also, we don't need to look at goaltending. We know for a fact Hino was amazing. We just didn't step up in front of him offensively. Now, before we head to the draft, we should check with Schofield because he is looking for an extension and he wants 12.6 million for the next 2 years. I don't really know if we can do a deal like this. Can I commit that much money to him? I'm not 100% sold, so I think there is a chance that we actually trade him away at the draft here, along with a handful of these other players, because yeah, I'm not giving these guys $18 million. They're 70 overalls. They don't deserve it. Now, plans have actually changed a little bit. Markstrom, I'm holding on to you for 1 more season, and the only reason I'm doing that is because there was no really good right defenseman projected in the top 5, and if I'm going to be trading you away, I do need a right defenseman to replace you, so I guess we're going to be holding on to you. Even though you have one of the worst contracts in the league, we're still going to make it work. But maybe I can move on from you because we did just bring a right defenseman to the team. However, this lowly potential player is only a 61 overall, so they're not quite ready to jump to the lineup. Now, with the 95th overall pick, this is where we're going to be getting our number 1 prospect, or at least our top prospect in this draft. We're going to be securing a mediumly potential right winger. This guy's going to be an absolute stud, or he's going to be a good trade asset next season when we package him up for a top 5 pick. Now, normally I wouldn't highlight a 4th round pick like this. It's just a player who has medium top 6 potential. However, they're a 52 overall at 17 years old, so there is a chance they're over a 60 overall next season, and there's an even greater possibility they actually develop into a superstar in the future. Okay, maybe a superstar is gassing it, but you get the point. He'll be a decent enough prospect, and so will this medium star potential goaltender. Maybe he can play backup minutes in the future. Now, I thought we were done with our elite prospects, but with the 223rd overall pick, a 67 overall with low elite potential, he's 19 years old right now. Nah, this could be an incredible story. A 7th round pick selected 223rd overall, turning into a superstar. Now, I really hope this prospect turns into something. So we have 14.4 million, and Schofield, what are you looking for when it comes to a contract extension? It looks like you're still looking for $12 million, and I guess we can do that, but how about we save some money? Can I get this down to 11 million for the next 2 years? I would have preferred doing an 8-year deal, but I guess 11 million for the next 2 is the best that we can get done. So Schofield, welcome back to the team, and then with everyone else, they're probably going to be walking because they're looking for too much money. I guess we actually will bring Bednarz back to the team. I'll do 2.6 for the next 2 years. He plays good bottom 6 minutes, and at that price tag, it's really not too bad. Now, we've basically run out of cap space, so when it comes to everyone else for next season, I'm not going to be able to re-sign any of these guys, including these other mediumly potential players, so I guess we'll just end up trading them away at the draft. There's nothing else we can do. I mean, I could bring this guy back for 4.2 million, but he is playing bottom 6 minutes, so maybe I'm not going to do that. So of course, we're going to be running it back with basically the exact same team. We have a couple guys on expiring contracts, but we'll find a way to bring them back. Markstrom, you are guaranteed to be traded away at the draft. Like, I can't afford to keep you on the books, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bloomstrand is traded away as well. We need to bring in some mediumly potential right defensemen. Right now, our left side is incredible, but we can't afford to keep all these guys on the team. We need to start bringing in some right defensemen, and I'm pretty sure we can get some in the draft. Hino, just keep on doing your thing. Salo, you're a pretty solid backup goaltender, but yeah, we got to work on the right side defense. You know who actually would have been really good for the right side defense? Landon Dupont, but we decided to trade him away, and in hindsight, I think we should have held on to him. But let's take a quick look at the draft class. There is one right defenseman who's projected 5th overall, so more than likely we're going to make a play for that player. There's also another right defenseman projected 12th overall, so maybe we're going to be making a move for him as well. Also, what is this? His previous ranking was 233, and now he's projected 9th. That's interesting. Now, I'm happy to see that Redwater is back where they belong, first in the entire league. But at the end of the day, I don't really care how well you do during the regular season. Like, the regular season is kind of an afterthought, because you know what really matters? The postseason and winning Stanley Cups. Stepping up when it matters is what truly means something here. Matty Hino, you're amazing once again. 38 wins, 4 shouts, a 910 to 256. You're looking to make some noise once again in the postseason, but this time you're looking to come out on top. We're taking on the Sacramento Sharks in the first round. Now we got to get back to our former greatness. We made the 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. We're looking to make it 4 in a row, but this time we're coming out on top. So Redwater, you know exactly what you have to do here. 16-0 in the playoffs. It's pretty simple. You guys drop game number 1 and you drop game number 2. No, that's not really ideal. Okay, apparently we're just not going to win any games. Yeah, this postseason didn't happen. We're moving on. Now, just to make things a little bit worse, Sacramento's going to go on to win the Stanley Cup. So we're losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions in the first round. I don't know what happened. We were just terrible from top to bottom. And then, hey, no. You recorded 0 wins while posting a 917 to 252. Notice how I said hey no, not Hino. I kind of just clued in on this. It's hey no, not Hino. But since I've been calling him Hino the entire video, he will remain as Matty Hino. I'm not going to start pronouncing your name correctly moving forward. Nah, you're just Hino for the rest of this video because I couldn't be bothered to correct myself. Alright, so I'm looking to pull off a big deal, but we need to acquire the 4th overall pick first. That's going to make this next trade a lot easier because I do want to walk away with the 1st overall because there's a player I'm very interested in. And who exactly is that player? Well, it's the medium franchise potential player that's projected 1st overall. So this is the deal I'm going to offer over to the Montana Timberwolves. Hopefully they're going to be saying yes, and it looks like they are. So we are getting an absolute steal here. We're going to be able to walk away with a franchise potential playmaker. Bro's beginning as an 81 overall, but I don't know if we're sticking with him. There's actually a very good possibility we move on from him because I don't think we need another playmaker on the team. What we need are right defensemen. So what I'm going to do is trade back to the 5th overall pick. We're giving up our medium franchise potential player, and then you are going to give me all of the draft picks imaginable. Like, you are just going to give me all of your 1st round picks for the next 5 years. 5 years of 1st round picks for the medium franchise potential player that I just took 1st overall. This is a no-brainer for us. We were able to walk away with the player that we need, a medium leap potential defensive defenseman beginning as a 78 overall. We've been looking for a guy like Heiskanen for a long time, and now we have them. Now, we're not done with the trades yet. We're going to send Bloomstrand, the 28th overall and the 92nd overall, over to the Riverside Guardsmen. We're going to bring in the 9th overall. And with the 9th overall, we're bringing in a right defenseman who can immediately jump to the lineup for us. And we're not going to be paying them $8 billion. As that's our big issue right now. We're just paying way too many players, way too much money. We're bringing in Fred Whittaker. We're bringing in all the Wits today. I don't know how that's happening, but it seems to be working out for us. A 76 overall who can immediately jump to the lineup. I'm not going to say no to that. Now we got to make another deal here because Markstrom, I got to get you off the team. I'm not paying you $12.5 million anymore. It's just not worth it. So Markstrom and a 7th round pick is going to be packaged up. We're bringing a 3rd rounder back. I think that's a great deal. Now, after all of that trading, I think it's about time that we start drafting some players. So how about we bring in a medium franchise potential goaltender in the 2nd round? He's only 47 overall right now, but he has medium franchise potential, and that means something. And on top of a mediumly potential goaltender, how about we bring in a lowly potential defensive defenseman? That's what we're going to be securing ourselves in the 4th round. Now, obviously, one lowly potential player is going to be enough. So how about we acquire another one in the 6th round? We're getting a 60 overall with lowly potential. However, he's already 19 years old, so I can't imagine he's going to be developing too much. So after making as many trades as we did, we freed up a lot of cap space. We have $26 million to work with. So that means we can re-sign a handful of our bottom 6 guys to like $2 million contracts. But do I want to give these guys $2 million? Like, some of them haven't earned it. I'll do $1.3 million. That's a lot better. I don't want to give anyone over $1.3 million. And it looks like we're going to be signing basically everyone for $1.3 million. So this is actually going to work out pretty well for us. I'm not going to complain about these deals. What I will complain about is the fact that all of them are left wingers though. And that's not really ideal. Now we have to decide on which players we want to keep around moving forward. Schofield, I think, is one player we definitely want to keep around. He seems to be a really good player for us, and I think we can definitely bring him back at this price tag. What if we did 8 years though? Okay, 8 years is definitely off the table because then he's looking for 16 million, but I can do probably $11 million for the next 4 years, and then I'll give you like a modified no trade in that final season. And I think if I give you that modified no trade, we actually might be able to get this down to like $9 million or something. Okay, this might be the biggest fleece of all time. 9.8 million for the next 4 years, 50% team protection that final season. We're going to be saving a ton of money with him. Moving on over to DeFazio next. I'm not really 100% sold on him. Granted, he has been a really good player for us. For some reason, he still hasn't adapted to becoming a right winger. Not really too sure why, but I will eventually convince you to become a right winger, and you will stick around with this team. I'll give you no movement in that final season. We'll get that contract interest up quite a bit. Maybe we can get this down to like 10.8 million or something. We're actually going to do less than that. 10.5 for the next 6 seasons. Another steal. Speaking of steals, I don't think we're getting one with Whitmore. I think he's going to be looking for an absolute bag, and 13.9 for the next 2 years is something I kind of expected. So we're going to hold off with his extension, and then Hino or Hayno, whatever you want to call him, he's going to be re-signed with the team. We're giving you an 8-year with a no movement. This is a no-brainer. You're an absolute superstar. We need to keep you around. And at this price tag, I am happy to keep you around. We're going to be in the $9 million range for him. That is significantly cheaper than I thought it would be. 9.4 for the next 8. We have our superstar locked down. And then Qdobin, you can probably stick around to be our backup. Here's 900k. Now, like usual, our top 6 is looking absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, the bottom 6, a little bit questionable, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Our defense looks great. Our offense looks great. Across the board, this team looks really, really solid. So I can only imagine we're going on another deep run. I know for a fact no other team can realistically compete with us. Like, just look at this team right here. We have 4 high 80 overalls in the top 6. Let's compare that to some of the other teams. Specifically a team like the Sharks. The Sharks were able to take us out in the first round last season in a sweep. I don't think the Sacramento Sharks are really that good. And they're not that good. In comparison to our team, they can't even match up. Look at their top 6 compared to ours. Yeah, our bottom 6s are probably even, but our top 6 is significantly better than theirs and significantly better than every other team in the league. Nobody else can really compete with us. We are one of one. But watch us be absolute frauds this season and disappoint everyone. So I think the Redwater Rams need to lock in here. So we're just going to simulate the entire postseason. No face cam. We'll simulate the entire postseason and just narrate what happens. But this team's got to lock in. It's been far too long since we've won a Stanley Cup. This is year 11 right now. Year 11, and we've only won 1 Stanley Cup until this point. Now these boys got to tee up. There's no reason we should be folding like this. We're finally able to get our rematch against the Sacramento Sharks in the second round, and we are absolutely dominating. We're taking them down 5 games and we're moving on. So we made it to the conference finals, and now we have the Brandon Bulls. 8 more wins get us the Stanley Cup. So how about we win those games right here, right now? Or we can lose in game 7 and we can blow a 3-0 series lead. At least I think it was a 3-0 series lead. It might have been a 3-1 series lead. It really doesn't matter. We're losing in the conference finals. These Redwater Rams always find a special way to choke. And it looks like it was a 3-1 series lead, not a 3-0 series lead. But does that really make much of a difference? Absolutely not. These boys always find a special way to fold when it matters. Like, we always find the most impressive way. Did we win the President's Trophy this season? Yes, we did. And we ended up losing to the Brandon Bulls. Maddox Schultz, 105 points. Ekblad, 101. Whitfield, 80. DeFazio, he's picking up 79, including 37 goals. Yeah, there is no excuses. Like, absolutely no excuses here. This team was so good from top to bottom. Goaltending was fantastic. But once the postseason came around, we went to Cancun early. We're going to fall in the conference finals. Ekblad was great. Maddox Schultz was great. Everyone was great here. Okay, I guess the bottom 6 scoring kind of sucked for us. But at the end of the day, we ride with our top 6. Meanwhile, when it comes to goaltending, you posted a 938 and a 188 with 2 shutouts and still lost. Nah, you can't make this up. Hino might be the greatest goaltender of all time, but it means nothing if we keep on losing. We should be good enough to win with him, but apparently we're not. We're just absolute frauds. We're receiving the first overall pick. Things might be looking up. Now, best case scenario is we can bring a franchise potential player to the team, but I doubt there's going to be back-to-back franchise potential players available, and it doesn't look like it. However, I kind of like this guy who's projected number 2, so maybe we should trade back in the draft, because we can probably get like a future second round pick as well. So I'll give you the first overall pick, you give me the 34th overall and a future second round pick, or maybe you can give me your future first round pick for next season. Hold on now. This could be the deal. We move back 1 spot, but we end up getting a future first round pick. They're saying no, but I think we're actually pretty close in value. So I'll give you the 74th overall pick. Is that going to be enough? They're still saying no. I'll give you a 6th round pick and a 5th round pick. I think this is an absolute fleece for us if we get it done. And it looks like we are getting it done. So we're moving back 1 pick in the draft, but I can absolutely live with that because we're going to be bringing a great defenseman to the team. He can play on the left and right side, and we need a player who has that type of versatility. So Lowe, welcome to the team. Now we might have got the first overall pick, which we then trade for the second overall and a future first round pick, and we might have just received this mediumly potential goaltender in the 4th round, but it does not make up for the disappointment we've seen over the last like 4 to 5 years. This team is capable of so much, yet they just say, nah, we're gonna lose all the time. So we still have $25 million in cap space. Whitmore, what are we thinking? This is why I held off. I was hoping you would eventually sign a more reasonable deal, and this is significantly more reasonable. We'll turn that no trade into a no movement. We'll save a bit of extra money. Can we get this down to like $10 million for the next 6? If we can sign you for $10.1 million, I think this is going to turn out to be one of the best deals we've signed. Whitmore, are you coming back at that price tag? It looks like it. Now with everyone else, we don't really have to worry because most of these guys are rookies. So I think we're just going to let all of these guys walk, and then we'll just replace them with all of these rookies. Now we still have quite a bit of cap space remaining. So when it comes to an extension for Belchez, it really shouldn't be too difficult, and it actually won't be difficult whatsoever. He's going to be coming back to the team for a very reasonable price. We'll do $10 million for the next 7 years. I'll even give you a no movement so we can save some extra money. $10 million for the next 7 years. It's $800K less than what you're getting paid right now. That was a super easy contract to hand out. And then with everyone else, more than likely you guys are walking, but I also could hand out a couple 1-year contracts. So here's 2.8 for 1 season. That's not bad. And then with everyone else, if they're willing to sign cheap 1-year contracts, I'll bring them back to the team. But if not, you're going to be walking. Now there's really not too much to say heading into this season. We have the offense. We have the defense. We have the goaltending. How about you guys just perform? When the lights are really bright, throw on some sunglasses and lock in. No more folding. Was that a bar? I feel like that was an absolute bar. I might just be gassing myself up. But when the lights are too bright, throw on some sunglasses and lock in. No, I think I might have cooked there. Now, although season 12 isn't technically the halfway point, because the halfway point would be season 12 and a half, you might as well say we've reached the halfway point, and the Redwater Rams are 4th in the entire league. We were behind the Sacramento Sharks. No, that just annoys me. That actually makes me furious. Maddox Schultz, 101 points. I actually don't care about this. Nope, I don't care about this in the slightest. Lock in, boys. I need you to figure it out right here, right now. No more playing like absolute scrubs. No more choking in the conference finals. No more getting swept in the first round. Just figure it out. Get back to your winning ways. But you know what? I actually have to take that last comment back. You can't go back to your winning ways because you have never been in your winning ways. You have won 1 Stanley Cup over 11 seasons. 1 cup in 11 years is not nearly enough for how good of a team we are. We usually dominate in the first round. We always collapse in either the conference finals or the Stanley Cup final, but maybe we're going to start losing here. We might lose in game 7. Nah, for some reason, this team just can't figure out what they want to do. We're moving up to the second round. We have the Sacramento Sharks. I don't know what to think. Like, I really don't. Are we a good team? Are we a bad team? Do we step up when the lights are the brightest? Absolutely not. We always fold. But why can we just never see success? We just lost to the Sacramento Sharks. There is literally no reason we should be losing to this franchise. Let me look at their roster. Like, I want you to name me 3 things about this Sacramento Sharks team that is better than ours. Our top 6 is so much better than theirs, it's not even comparable. The bottom 6, I'll give it to them. Theirs is slightly better, but our top 6 is so much better than their top 6, it makes up the difference. Now let's look at the defenses. Ours is significantly better. They're not even in the same league defensively as us, so maybe they have a 99 overall goaltender that I'm not aware of. Nope, they have Connor Rourke, who is an 87 overall. What about this Sharks team is better than ours? Nothing. Nothing about this team is better than ours, but for some reason, they've been seeing more success than us, and that doesn't make any sense to me. I actually do want to take a quick look at the postseason scores because I just need to know who completely collapsed. Whitfield, Belchez, DeFazio, it looks like you were the guys that let me down. -7, -6, -6. When it comes to the rest of the team, I can't really complain. I think it was literally just that second line. Our second line in goaltending, nah, what has happened to Hino? He used to be a superstar. Now he's posting an 891 and a 313. How the mighty have fallen. But you know what? I think we will be able to bounce back. We do own somebody's first round pick, and it's probably going to be pretty valuable once again. Back-to-back first overall picks. Now just give me a medium franchise potential player and we'll be chilling. We're also getting the 15th overall as well, so we should be sitting pretty. Now with the first overall pick, I'm happy to say we are receiving a medium franchise potential player, but he's a playmaker. I don't really want more playmakers on this team. I feel like we have enough playmakers. I think we need more scorers. But you know what? I really don't want to trade a medium franchise potential player away. So I think we're just going to hold on to him. Now, I would like to walk away with at least one more mediumly potential player in this draft. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to trade this older prospect away. He's 23 years old right now, only a 70 overall. He's not going to develop into anything. I'll package him up with the 15th overall. That means we're getting another pick in the top 5. So that means we're going to be walking away with another amazing player. And who exactly is that going to be? Well, we're going to go with Dmitry Ovechkin, a solid power forward, beginning as a 76 overall. I'm probably going to give him 1 season to develop, and then he can join the team 2 years from now. Now, I accidentally had the recording pause, but we actually made a play for the 40th overall. I traded the 25th overall, a 7th rounder, and I believe a 3rd round pick. We got the 40th overall and a future 2nd rounder. I was hoping to get a mediumly potential player here, but instead we got medium top 6, so yeah, that's kind of a disappointment. Now, I feel like we've drafted a lot of mediumly potential goaltenders so far in this video, and none of them have developed. This guy is a gem, so I'm really hoping he can develop. But yeah, when it comes to mediumly potential goaltenders, I feel like we haven't had a ton of luck. Now, since we're really not losing that many players over the offseason, we're actually not going to sign that medium franchise potential player quite yet. We're going to hold off a little bit with him. I don't really want to use any years on his entry level contract when we don't have to. And considering we're not losing anybody, it doesn't really make sense to sign him quite yet. What we're going to do instead is I'm going to qualify this RFA for 1.1 million. And then with this UFA, I'll give him 1.3 million. So yeah, we're basically in the same spot as last season. We're not any worse off. Now, there's a couple important players I do want to bring back to the team. Heiskanen is one of them, and I'm not really too sure how much he's looking for. Okay, this is actually very reasonable. I thought he was going to be asking for way more than this. So here's 6.9 million for the next 4 years. Whittaker, how much are you looking for? You want 6.1 for the next 6. What if I did like 5.5 million? I think he's willing to accept 5.5, so I guess he can come back to the team for that price. And then when it comes to Ekblad, we should have more than enough money for him, and it looks like we do. So everyone's coming back to the team, nothing to worry about. So we're not going to be losing any of our key players. Everyone's going to be returning. Ekblad's getting 14 million for the next 6 seasons, and then next season we're going to be signing a couple rookies. Things are really looking up for the franchise. The cap situation here has actually been relatively easy to manage. Also, remember how I said none of our goaltenders have developed? Well, some of them are starting to develop now. Now, in moments like this, I think there's really only one thing that we can do. We went out and got a new head coach. Our previous head coach clearly hadn't been working for us. Although we were finishing top 3 in the entire league pretty consistently, we were not winning nearly enough. So we went ahead and brought in a new head coach. I think he has better fits with the team. Honestly, I have no clue, but we had to change things up here. Our previous coach clearly wasn't working. Hopefully this new coach is going to be a difference maker for us. Also, Ekford's up to an 88 overall. So he actually might be the starter. Hino, you're moving to a backup role. Now that's crazy work. You have been our guy for so long, and now you're going to be our backup. Ekford's also locked down for 2 seasons. No, we're going to have an elite goaltending tandem. We might have the 2 best goalies in the league now. Win. Just win. That's all you have to do. 16 victories. You can't lose more than 4 in a 7-game series. Win. That's all you have to do. Look at the plus minuses. Clearly, we have one of the best teams of all time. When it comes to goaltending, Ekford was the number 1 this season. He's an 88 overall. He was a superstar. Maybe that's what we've needed for a long time. Maybe we've just needed to change up the goaltending. Even though our goaltender hasn't been an issue, we have a new coach, we have a new goaltender. Something has to change. Like, if we can't win with this team right here, I'm convinced we might never win another Stanley Cup. Because what more do we have to do in order to improve this team? We have a new head coach. We have a new goaltender. We have a 3-1 series lead. We should be able to get past the Wildcats here, or whatever their name is. I honestly kind of forget. I think it is the Wildcats. But yeah, we're getting past them. But what more do we have to do? Like, seriously. We have the forwards, we have the defensemen, we have the goaltenders, we have everything we could possibly need in order to see success. So let's just win. Let's win 16 games over the course of the postseason. Let's not choke to anyone. Let's not collapse. Let's just find a way to close all of these games out. Let's find a way to win Game 6 because we are facing elimination in the second round once again. Even though we are the best team in the entire league, there is nothing wrong with this team except the fact that we never show up when the lights are the brightest, except we finally might have done that. Can we win overtime? Hold on, the boys aren't done yet. The Redwater Rams actually might be on to something here. I don't like the fact that we still need to win Game 7, but we're not eliminated quite yet. The Guardsmen had their chance to eliminate us, but they choked. For once, we didn't choke, and it was actually our opponent who choked. That doesn't happen very often. In the first period, it's going to be scoreless. Moving into the second, we're picking up back-to-back goals. We're going to be able to close this one out in the third, and we're moving on to the conference finals. Now that we're in the conference finals, win every game moving forward. I want 8 more victories. We're going to finish this postseason out on a 10-game winning streak. Just win. Who are we taking on? It looks like it's going to be the Wild Hogs. Please win. Whatever you do, don't choke when the lights are the brightest. Keep those sunglasses on. Ignore the bright lights. But I'm not sure if we're doing that. We've won back-to-back games. Can we please make it 3 in a row? Yes, we can. Make it 4 in a row and move on to the Stanley Cup final. Give me 4 more wins. 4 more wins is all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for 5. I'm not asking for 6. I am asking for 4 more wins here. Now, can we get those wins? Well, we won the first 2 and then we lost back-to-back. Do not lose 3 in a row, and it doesn't look like we're doing that. 1 more victory gives us the Stanley Cup. Red Water's coming out on top again. Wow, this was stressful. And there's no reason it should have been this stressful. Like, we should have been dominating over the past, 7 years. We probably should have 8-peated. But nope, we weren't able to do that. But Red Water is finally back on top once again. We're Stanley Cup champions. But this Stanley Cup doesn't really mean too much to me. And why is that? Well, we should have about 7 more. So this is your second chance at a dynasty, Redwater. You better not collapse this time. You need to seize the moment. You are being given another opportunity at building a dynasty. Figure out how to build one this time. I mean, to be fair, one thing that is certainly going to help us build the dynasty is we have 3 elite players join the team next season, and we actually might have 4 elite players, especially if we get the first overall pick once again. And is that going to be happening here? It looks like it. Wow, we jumped from 8 to 1. 3 straight years getting the first overall. This technically isn't possible, but we vibe anyways. Another first overall pick for Redwater. Nah, this was the perfect video to do the drafting only challenge. We're getting every first overall pick imaginable. Now, the only thing that can make this better is a medium franchise potential power forward or something. Now, could we possibly get that with the first overall pick? Maybe. And I don't really want to trade the pick away in case this guy actually is a medium franchise potential player. I don't think he's going to be, but we're still going to take the risk. And it looks like he's going to be a mediumly potential playmaker. Not really what I wanted. Like, we already have a ton of mediumly potential playmakers on the team, so maybe we should trade this player away, but let's not do that. Let's not make a stupid decision. There was a reason he was projected first overall. Let's just stick with the best player available. Meanwhile, when it comes to the 32nd overall pick, how about we just go with this medium top 4D potential player? He might be NHL ready as well, but I highly doubt he will be. More than likely, he's going to take a couple years to develop. Now, I'll just double check in case he actually is NHL ready, and he's a 75 overall right now, so give him a year and a half and he might be ready. Now, it looks like we're just going to keep on winning. Do I take a risk here? Absolutely not. We're going to go with the gem. We're going to be taking him about 6 picks early, but I think that's the right decision. Sometimes it's worth taking the risk, but when you see a gem available, well, you just have to jump on that player, like this guy right here. He's probably going to have lowly potential or something, but hey, I can certainly work with a lowly potential player as long as they have lowly potential, and they don't. Okay, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So last season, I was talking about how we've drafted 1 million mediumly potential goaltenders, and none of them had developed until last season. Well, let's draft another one since we're seeing so much success with these mediumly potential guys. So we've made to the re-sign phase with $5.5 million to work with. Colin Lowe, welcome to the team. You're finally going to be joining the franchise. And yeah, I think that's about all we have to do here. We'll sign a couple of these other elite potential players, like this medium franchise potential players up to an 87 overall, so he's ready to jump to the lineup. We'll bring this 82 overall player to the team. He's going to play some good minutes. Ovechkin's going to play some good minutes. That left defenseman's going to play some good minutes. No, we're going to have a very good team heading into this season. We should be winning about 70 games. Now, of course, we all know that Maddox Schultz has to come back to the team, but I can only imagine he's looking for the biggest contract imaginable. And yeah, he wants $19 million, but can you really blame the man? He's been an absolute superstar for us for a very long time, and he's kind of earned every penny. So I think what we'll end up doing is $17.7 million for the next 7 years, and then with everyone else, they're probably going to have to walk because we're not going to be able to afford these guys. Some of these players are going to be some tough losses, but what can you do? Now, last season, we had a new head coach and a new starting goaltender, and what did that result in? A Stanley Cup. We are 1-for-1 with our new coach and new goaltender. We have a better team heading into this season. A handful of rookies made the jump, so I think we're going to be even better this season. We're going to be looking for 70 wins, especially with 90 overall. Eckford as our starting goaltender. No, the fact that we're not going to be able to bring Bro back to the team is actually going to be a travesty. Like, Hino is going to have to be our guy moving forward. He's still locked down for 6 more years with a no movement. I'm not going to lie, I've never been more disappointed about having an 88 overall starting goaltender, because that means we have to lose our 90 overall starting goaltender. But at the end of the day, whether or not Eckford's going to be with us next season doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is whether or not he wins back-to-back cups with us. Now, the job is not finished for the Redwater Rams. We are looking for back-to-back Stanley Cups. We want to bring home our 3rd Stanley Cup of the video. This would also be the first repeat in franchise history. You already know what we're about. We score goals, we take games, and we choke in the playoffs. Or at least we used to choke. But now we have a different goaltender. Eckford's the number 1, 45 wins, 9 shots, a 917 to 234. He won last season. He's looking to win again. We're taking on the Brandon Bulls in the first round. Let's go back to back. This team should have been able to go back to back a long time ago, but things just haven't gone our way until now, because we're going to wake up after dropping game number 1. We're actually going to pretend game number 1 didn't happen. We're going to pretend game 3 didn't happen either. Why have we split the series with the Brandon Bulls? We should not be struggling against them. Why are we down in the series? Nah, y'all can't go out in the first round like this. I thought Eckford was actually the missing piece for us. Apparently not, because we are absolute frauds. We're losing 4-1. We're eliminated in the first round. Apparently our new coach and new goaltender means absolutely nothing. No, I don't even want to look at stats. We're just moving on to next season. Now, if we hadn't dealt with enough disappointment, it's about to get a little bit worse. Our streak of first overall picks has come to an end because we're only going to be receiving the 14th overall. Nah, that's heartbreaking. Okay, hold on. We might have something here. Clifford, I'm going to send you over to the Maine Marauders. We're going to try to get the 6th overall pick from them. Perfect. Now we're moving over to the Halifax Hunters, and I would like to get the 1st overall pick because there's a player I am very interested in. Now, I don't think all of these picks are going to be enough here, but we might be relatively close. They're saying no. I'm actually willing to give up a really good young prospect as well. Schofield, maybe I throw you into this deal. I think that might be the answer. Is there anyone else I can throw into this deal? Maybe I'd trade a guy like Ovechkin away. Granted, Ovechkin is younger. Schofield is going to be looking for a contract extension soon. I'll throw him into this deal. Is that enough for the 1st overall? They're saying no. I'll give you a 1st round pick for next season. Please tell me this package right here is more than enough for the 1st overall. They're still saying no. What else do I have to give you? I guess if I have to give you Ovechkin, I will. I don't like this deal, but if that's what it's going to cost for us to get the 1st overall, I'm willing to do that. Now, we just gave up a lot there, so we better be getting a superstar, and we are. Liam Klingberg has joined the team, medium franchise potential. We got another superstar. So with that addition, our top 6 is looking incredible. We're going to have 3 franchise potential players, a couple more 90 overalls. No, we have all the potential in the world here. When it comes to the rest of the team, definitely questionable, but we're not going to worry about those guys. Now, unfortunately, outside the 1st overall pick, the rest of the draft was a huge disappointment for us, but we received a franchise potential player, so there's nothing to complain about. Now, we actually do have enough money for Eckford. However, I don't really want to give him $12.5 million. So I think we're just going to hold on to him. And if somebody sends a qualifying offer our way, I'll just take their 1st round picks. Because yeah, I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to throw him a massive deal when we already have 1 goaltender locked down long term. So I believe we have more than enough cap space to bring Whitfield back to the team. This shouldn't be too difficult. We'll do around $11.5 million for the next 7 years. I think that's pretty fair for him. He's a good 2nd line centerman for us. He's been here for a long time, and I want him sticking around. And then outside of that, yeah, we're not going to worry about these guys. Well then, who needs Eckford when you have a low franchise potential goaltender in the system? That works. Now, instead of waiting for somebody to offer cheat Eckford, I think we'll just trade him over to the Halifax Hunters. You guys can give me 2 2nd round picks and we'll call it a day. Now, after the disaster of last season, we saw a little bit of turnover, but I'm not talking about with our forward core or with our defensive core, but we lost our starting goaltender from last season. Eckford's left the team. On top of him, our associate coach and our assistant coach both retired on us. They either retired or quit, and I wouldn't blame them for doing either or. We need to figure it out as the Redwater Rams. We've been a top 5 team for basically the past 12 years now, and over those 12 years, we've been able to win like 2 Stanley Cups. 2 Stanley Cups over a 12-year period in reality is pretty good, but not to our standards. To our standards, that's nothing but failure. Now, I don't even know what to do anymore. So I'm just throwing stuff at the wall. We'll simulate the entire postseason once again. I'm just going to commentate over it. I don't know what we have to do in order to win. We got to change something up though. I know we tried this method earlier and it didn't work out, but it's worked out for me pretty frequently in the past. So let's try it again. We're taking on the Sacramento Sharks in the second round. You already know we're going to lose to the Sharks. They have our number. They always take us down somehow. It doesn't matter what the series is. We always lose to them, but not this time. We're moving on to the conference finals. We have the Montana Timberwolves up next. We've won 3 straight games. Hold on. We're in the Stanley Cup final. Win me 4 games. You're playing a best of 7 series. Win 4 games. Win me 4 more games. You won 1, you won 2, you won 3. We swept them. Wow, this took a long time. Our 3rd Stanley Cup of the video in year 15. At this rate, we are on pace to win about 5 Stanley Cups in this video. If we don't win 5 more over the next 10 years, I'm crashing out. We have 3 franchise potential players on the team. There is literally 0 reason we shouldn't be taking over the NHL. I know I didn't look at postseason stats, but I will in a moment here. 5 Stanley Cups over the next 10 years. There is literally no excuse. We have the goaltender, we have the offense, we have the defense, we have everything, but we've had everything for a very long time. But the big difference maker this season, a new coaching staff. We had a new associate coach, we had a new assistant coach. I don't know if those guys were the difference maker or not, but clearly they didn't make us any worse. When it comes to our offensive numbers, they look pretty good here. Klingberg kind of sucked. He only had 20 goals and 14 assists for 34 points, but he's going to be playing top 6 minutes next season. He's going to develop into a superstar. Hino, just keep on doing your thing, and we'll win 5 more Stanley Cups over these next 10 years. But you need to continue to replicate the numbers that you just put up. And when it comes to everyone else on this team, you guys need to replicate your numbers as well. Look at Klingberg, 10 goals in 19 games during the postseason. We're going to have to rely on him big time. And Hino, yeah, these are the numbers that we can work with. I kind of feel like I should start calling him Hano just because that technically is the correct way you pronounce his name. But no, we're 15 years into me calling him Hino. We're just going to stick with that. At this point, he's changed his name. Now, so far in this video, we have drafted about 1 million medium league potential goaltenders. So meet the 1,000,001st medium league potential goaltender. Yeah, we're still not done with them. Now, I think moving forward, unless it's going to be a super notable re-signing, you're probably done seeing the re-sign phase because 90% of the time I'm just signing rookies here or giving a couple players like $1 million. If we're re-signing one of our superstars, however, of course you will see it. Now, here's where we're going to run into some problems. Tikkanen, I do want to bring you back to the team. You're an elite playmaker for us. Like, we need to give you a bag, but we only have $24 million to work with. If I give you a no movement, then we're going to be able to keep you around at a cheaper price. But still, this is going to be very expensive, especially considering right now you're on your entry-level contract. So this is quite the pay increase, $11.3 million. That means we're left with $11 million. I don't think we can re-sign both of these guys. Low, how much money do you want? $12.5 million. Considering you play on both sides, I think we should bring you back to the team. Like, you can be a right defenseman for us, you can be a left defenseman, you're pretty versatile. We have to keep you around just because of that. And we're also going to keep you around because you're willing to accept a very cheap contract, $10 million for the next 7 years. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Actually, I'll do $10.1 million. Just because I'm nice. And then when it comes to Karkner, unfortunately, we are going to be losing a superstar defenseman. Like, we're losing a 94 overall here. However, I can't afford to pay him $17 million. It was only a matter of time before we started losing some of the good players, but unfortunately that time has come a lot sooner than I was expecting. So we're officially down to our final 10 seasons, and as I mentioned earlier, 5 Stanley Cups in the next 10 years. At some point, we are going to have to free up some cap space, because we do have to bring back Klingberg. He has medium franchise potential. We're not letting him walk for nothing. I don't know how we're going to be able to free up the money for him. I think best case scenario, Belchez is willing to waive his no movement, and then we can trade him away somewhere else. I don't know how easy that's going to be though, because I'm assuming he's going to want to stick around with the franchise. He's been able to do some amazing things with us. Why would he want to leave? Especially when he's only getting paid $10 million. He wants to stay loyal to the soil, but unfortunately, we don't want to stay loyal to him. So 10 years, 5 Stanley Cups, I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult. Then again, it's taken us 15 years to win 3. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, considering this method worked last season, I think we gotta run it again. We have to try this exact same method once again. We're gonna simulate the entire postseason. I'm just gonna commentate over it. Can we win back-to-back Stanley Cups for the first time in this video? Can the Redwater Rams finally not choke when the lights are the brightest? Well, we got past the Compton Cash Money team. We're moving on to the second round. We are 12 wins away. 12 wins from doing the impossible, which is repeating, because for some reason in this video, it is impossible to repeat, but we're halfway halfway there. We are halfway to repeating. We just need to win 8 more games. Let's win 4 right here in the conference finals. Then we can move on to the Stanley Cup final, but we have to make it there, and an overtime win in game 7 is sending us to the Stanley Cup final. 4 more victories gives us the repeat. Back-to-back Stanley Cups if we can win 4 more games. The Redwater Rams won 63 games this season. We have now won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and we're about to lose one of our best players. Oh boy, we got to figure out how to keep Bro on the team. Like, as much as I want to celebrate this victory right here, we are about to lose our best defenseman. We're going to lose our number 1 defenseman because we don't have enough cap space for him. I don't know how we're going to free up that cap space, but we have to find a way. Karkner, I have no clue how we're going to keep you here. You're a 94 overall with exact franchise potential, but I need to find a way. When it comes to postseason scoring, Schultz is leading the way with 23 points. Tikkanen's picking up 23. When it comes to Klingberg, only 5 goals and 5 assists for 10 points. Low-key, Bro's been a bit of a fraud, but we're still going to be keeping him around. And then Hino, 16 wins, 2 shouts, a 927 and a 211. You've won back-to-back Stanley Cups for the first time in your career, but the real question is, can you complete the three-peat now? Also, never mind, Bro is not coming back. He wants 21 million. There is 0 chance I do that. Even if we had the cap space, I'm not doing that. Now, I did a quick overview of this draft class, and honestly, I did not expect us to get anything good. But Avery Mowers, you have lowly potential, and you're already a 66 overall. Maybe you can develop into something. But when it comes to the rest of this draft, it is just straight buns. Alright, so it's time for us to make the most difficult decisions of our lives. DeFazio, Whitmore, Heiskanen, Klingberg, all of you guys are looking for extensions. Klingberg only wants 2 seasons though. I don't know how I feel about giving you a 2-year contract. DeFazio, I'm not giving you 21 M's. That's just not happening. Whitmore, you want 13.3. See, like, that's a lot more reasonable. So I can bring you back to the team. We'll try to get this down to around $11 million. And I think we'll be able to do $11 million exactly for the next 7. So that's a very fair deal. Heiskanen, how much are you looking for? I feel like you're going to want 15 million. But 11 million is really not that bad. Okay, so I guess we're going to bring back everyone except for DeFazio. When it comes to Heiskanen, I'll also give him 50% trade protection. We can probably get this below $10 million now. Yeah, we're going to end up doing 9.8 for the next 5 years. That's going to be a very good deal. And then Klingberg, we'll bring you back when you're willing to sign a multi-year deal. Now, as I've mentioned in the past, I really didn't think they'd be able to do it, but the Redwater Rams have won back-to-back Stanley Cups. This team actually repeated. Like, they were given countless opportunities to repeat, and they always folded in the following season, but not this time. Back-to-back Stanley Cups for Redwater, and I don't think it's going to be stopping this season. We are going for the elusive three-peat, something we haven't seen yet with this franchise, but it's something I know that we're capable of. So here we go, boys. It's the three-peat. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. We're going to keep on using this method for the Redwater Rams, and we're going to keep on using this method until we don't win a Stanley Cup. For some reason, it is working incredibly well now, so let's just keep on doing it. We're sweeping the Boise Bandits in the first round. We have the Compton Cash Money team in the second round. Compton's team is definitely going to put some pressure on us. They're winning game number 1, but we're winning game 2. We're winning game 3. We're winning game 4. Can we win game 5 as well? We're 8-1 so far in the postseason. We're dropping game number 1 in the conference finals, but that's fine because we're going to win 4 games in a row right after that. The exact same thing we did in the second round. We are 12-2 entering the Stanley Cup final. We're dropping game 1 and dropping game 2, but I believe we'll come back in this series, but maybe not. The Glen Falls Goblins are taking us down in the Stanley Cup final. Nah, what just happened? Redwater, are you back to your choking ways? Please don't tell me we're back to doing this over and over again. We're supposed to win 5 Stanley Cups in the final 10 years. We've already won 1, but now we've lost in year 17. 8 seasons remain, 4 more Stanley Cups at the bare minimum. We should have been able to win a Stanley Cup. Like, there's literally no reason we shouldn't have. We scored 3.8 goals per game, allowed 2.32. We were the best offensive by far and the best defensive by far. Nobody was in the same league as us. But yet we struggled, and in the conference finals when the lights were bright, we broke our sunglasses and we absolutely collapsed. Who collapsed? That's what I want to know. Who let us down when it mattered most? DeFazio was pretty good. Whitfield was pretty good. Maddox Schultz, maybe a bit of a step back from you, but Klingberg had 11 goals here. Nah, as a team, we just weren't nearly as good. Belchez, I'm going to talk to you about potentially a trade because, yeah, I don't think you're a part of this team's future anymore. When it comes to goaltending, Hino, you did what you could. 13 wins, 3 shouts, a 924 and a 219. But apparently when the playoffs came around, those numbers just weren't good enough. Even though they're incredible, somehow they just weren't good enough. So best case scenario, there is a universe where we can trade Belchez. Very convincing. Why did I only ask him if there's one team? That was a bad choice. Why would I ever do that? I could have asked him about multiple different teams, but for some reason I only asked him about one, and it's going to be the Armadillos. Now we have to pray that they can take on another contract, because they might not be able to. I might have completely folded. No, please tell me that you actually can take his contract on. If you can't, we're in trouble. We got lucky. So incredibly lucky there. No, that was just a very stupid move by me. That one's on me. Like, what was I doing there? On top of trading Belchez, I think I will trade the 31st overall pick. Hopefully we can move up to the 10th overall or something. All right, we got a top 10 pick. That's cool. Now, are we going to get anything notable with the 10th overall pick? I have absolutely no clue. I guess we can go with this medium top 6 potential player right here. They're 1 year away. Yeah, we'll bring him to the team. He's a 74 overall. He'll join the franchise next season. So losing in the Stanley Cup final is one thing, but not even drafting a lowly potential player in the draft is another thing. We had 7 picks to work with. Outside the 10th overall pick, we got a whole lot of nothing. It was just bottom 6 player on bottom 6 player. No, we're in the absolute trenches now. Even though we're in the trenches though, there's still one thing we can celebrate, and that's going to be Klingberg coming back to the team. $15.8 million for the next 6 seasons. But I want to lock you down for the rest of this video. We know we have 8 seasons remaining, so I might as well just give you an 8-year contract. So we're going to be looking at $17 million for the next 8 seasons. I'll actually do $17.3 million for the next 8 seasons. Is that a hefty contract? Absolutely. But it locks him down for the rest of the video, and that's got to be worth something. Also, I'll bring our low franchise potential goaltender back for one more season. Here's $3.5 million. I feel like that's a notable enough signing that I should mention. Now, we're going to have to find a way to get another top 5 pick, because we cannot be rocking a 77 overall in the top 6. But maybe we can when every other player is a 90 overall. I just realized we have 5 90 overalls on our forward core. When it comes to our defense, we have another 2 90 overalls. Okay, this team is actually in a way better spot than I thought we were. When it comes to goaltending, we have a 91 overall. We have 8 90 overall players on this team. That is absolutely wild. Let's look at some of the other teams, because we need to compare. Like, out of the 20 players we have in the lineup, 8 of them are 90 overalls. Now let's take a look at the rest of the league. The Armadillos have 190 overall in the forward core, and that's probably their only 90 overall. So they have 1. We have 8. When taking a look at the Boise Bandits, no 90 overalls on the forward core, none on the defensive core. Do they have a 90 overall goalie? No, they don't. So we have 8 and they have 0. Taking a look at the Brandon Bulls, nah, this forward core doesn't even have an 85 overall, let alone a 90. They have 1 on the defense, but based on this right here, we are in a league of our own, and we will still collapse. That's the most annoying thing. There is realistically no team that should be able to compete with us, but somehow, some way, we are going to completely fold to one of these teams. Alright, so last season, our method of simulating the entire postseason didn't really work out for us, so it's time for us to go back to our normal method of just simulating round by round. The Redwater Rams winning the President's Trophy once again, no surprise about that. When it comes to our offensive numbers, Maddox Schultz is leading the way. We all saw this coming. Maddox Schultz has been an absolute dog in this video. I just wanted to point that out. Almost 1,500 points and 1,200 games played. Nah, bro's really been him. Tikkanen's been really solid. Klingberg's been really good as well. Can't sleep on Ekblad. He's been an OG since day number 1. We can't forget about him. When it comes to goaltending, Matty Hino, you're just a dog. Nothing more needs to be said. You've really been that guy since day number 1. We're taking on the Chilliwack Cougars in the first round. Redwater's looking to get back in the win column. We know what it takes to win now. Like, we've been able to win 2 Stanley Cups over the past 3 years. We've made it to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, and we're immediately dropping game number 1. That is just fantastic. Can we win 3 games in a row? No, we cannot. Y'all better not lose game 6. Whatever you do not lose game 6. Why am I talking about game 6? Now you can't lose game 6, but you couldn't lose game 5 either, but you did lose game 5. So now you really can't lose game number 6, because we're in game number 6, and it's game 6 elimination for us. You guys cannot afford to lose this game right here. You have a 1-goal lead entering the 3rd period. You better be able to hold on to it, and luckily we are, but we're moving on to game 7 elimination now. The only thing worse than game 6 elimination is game 7 elimination, because that means you have to win back-to-back elimination games, and I don't really have the most hope with Redwater. Based on what this team has done in the past, they will show great promise for 2 or 3 seasons, and then what are they going to do after that? Completely choke when it matters most. We lost 5-2. This is exactly what I was talking about. 3 straight Stanley Cup final appearances, by the way, only to lose in Game 7 of the first round the following year. 7 seasons left, and we're still looking for 4 more cups. So maybe we need another player in the top 6. I don't know if that's what we're missing, but yeah, this team was something else this season. Just frauds, absolute frauds. What do you mean Heiskanen was -7? He's an 89 overall. In no universe should an 89 overall be -7 in this universe. Nah, this is an absolute joke. This is an even bigger joke right here. No, I didn't see those save percentages or goals against. That didn't happen. Nope, I refuse to believe that happened. We're moving on to the draft lottery. Yikes. That's about all I can say. Now, I was a little bit concerned that we were going to have back-to-back really bad drafts, but luckily I have some good news. We're drafting a medium league potential player. We will trade him at next season's draft in order to get a top 3 pick, so we can bring another medium league potential player to the team, because we need some more high potential players in our top 6. A lot of the guys are starting to age out on us, and we are going to need some replacements. Now, originally I was going to be happy about a low league potential player, and then I realized this guy's a 49 overall. So yeah, that was actually just a waste of a pick. We probably would have been better off with medium bottom 6. Now, I remember that goaltender we had who had low franchise potential. Well, it looks like he now has low star potential, and as an 86 overall, he's only looking for around $2 million. So I'm going to give him $2.2 million to be our backup for the next 2 seasons. I think that's an absolute steal. Meanwhile, our other medium league potential goaltender, here's $1.3 million. Now, I knew this day was coming, but I wasn't ready for it. Ekblad, it's time for me to give you an extension, and you want $12 million for 1 season. Okay, that's better than what I thought it would be. However, I think this does signal the end for you. Like, you're only signing a 1-year deal with the team. Normally, you're signing 6, 7, 8-year contracts, but not anymore. At 34 years old, you know your time is coming to an end. Whittaker, I'm not going to be bringing you back to the team because you're going to be looking for way too much money. I'm not giving you $11 million. Meanwhile, with everyone else, they're all going to be looking for too much money as well, so they're going to be leaving the team. When it comes to goaltending, Hino, you're interested in signing a contract extension with the team, and $6.6 million is a deal I can get behind, and I'm actually willing to give you exactly what you're looking for. I actually do think that was $25K less than he was looking for, but you get the point. Now, in a normal 25-year rebuild, when we're not in a 0 overall league, you'd be looking at this team and you would be telling me, stick on the ice, there's clearly something wrong with your bottom 6. That's what's been holding you back. You have a weak bottom 6 compared to the rest of the league. Yeah, your top guys are amazing, but your bottom 6 just isn't that good. The problem is, this isn't a normal league. Our bottom 6 is actually relatively good compared to the rest of the NHL. Like, you can make the argument our bottom 6 is actually better than a handful of teams. So you might be thinking, stick on the ice, the defense has to be bad here. No, it is not. It is better than every defense in the entire league. We have a better forward core than everyone. We have a better defensive core. So that must mean you have a 60 overall goaltender. No, we do not. We have 286 overalls. So the question has to be asked, how has this team not won 10 Stanley Cups? And here's the answer. It is absolutely rigged. That's really all I can say. It has to be rigged. The Redwater Rams have only won 4 Stanley Cups in this video. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are entering the 2033-2044 season. 2044 and we only have 4 cups. That just doesn't add up if you ask me. For the amount of superstar talent we have here, and for the amount of President's Trophies and top 5 appearances we have had, there is no valid reason for us to not have more Stanley Cups than what we have. I have tried new head coaches, new associate coaches, new assistant coaches, new goaltenders, new forwards, new line combinations. I have tried absolutely everything, but for some reason, those lights must be blinding our players. Like, they just have to be way too bright. Like, that's the only thing that makes logical sense, is our players are just the Toronto Maple Leafs. They just choke when the lights are the brightest. When the lights are really bright and you got to find a way to win some games, they are blinded, they break their sunglasses, they turn the puck over in the defensive zone. They have to be doing something, because there's literally no excuses and there's literally no reason we shouldn't have more cups. Now, we've seen this story before. The Redwater Rams, first in the entire league, another President's Trophy. At this point, we have the most President's Trophies in NHL history. Like, we just keep on winning this trophy, but it doesn't result in any Stanley Cups. Maddox Schultz, 106 points. Klingberg, 93 points, including 50 goals. I feel like that might be a team high. Like, that actually might be a franchise high. I don't know if we've ever had a 50-goal score before. Maybe we have, maybe we haven't. I honestly don't know. I've been too blinded by all the bright lights and us choking in the postseason. We're taking on the Compton Cash Money team in the first round. I really don't expect much. Like, my expectations are very, very low. But hey, we're going to stay positive. We are going to be very, very positive heading into this upcoming matchup in the postseason. I believe we can win, and I even think we can go 16-0. Like, I believe in the Redwater Rams. These guys always find a way to step up when it matters. They have never let me down before. Watch them absolutely dominate Compton. Yeah, we're smoking them. We allowed 3 goals over the course of 4 games. Now our goaltending and defense is on a different level. So if our defense is going to be that good, how about we spark the offense? How about we start scoring 7 goals per game? Our offense was already amazing in the first round, but how about we make it a little bit better? Now, we did drop game number 2 and game number 4, but that's fine because we'll just win game 5 and game 6. This team always shows up when it matters. So we've won game number 5. Now it's time to win game number 6. Unfortunately, we're going to be dropping that, but that's perfectly fine because we're going to step up. Game 7's around the corner. We're excited to play some puck here and watch us absolutely dominate. Now, we're not going to be scoring in the first period, but that's perfectly fine. Lots of time left in this one. Moving into the second, Portland's picking up back-to-back goals. No fright. We know that the Redwater Rams are going to be showing up when it matters. And guess what just happened? We showed up when it mattered. We scored a goal, but 1 goal just isn't enough today, and we're falling in the second round. Okay, I'm done being positive. What on earth did we just do? Why did we lose back-to-back games? We were so good in the first round. Like, we allowed 3 goals over the course of 4 games, and then we just said, nah, let's stop scoring and let's stop playing defense. Actually, I can't even blame defense. 2 goals allowed here, 3 goals allowed here, so 5 goals over the course of 2 games. That's really not that bad. Where was our offense? Our offense that was best in the entire league just said, yeah, we're taking this season off. We can't put too much stress on our bodies. Like, you expect us to score 3 goals per game? Nah, sorry, bro, we can't do that. So the Waterloo World, Stanley Cup champions. Would have preferred if that was the Redwater Rams. Like, I would have preferred a lot more if that was the Redwater Rams, but unfortunately it wasn't. So we're down to our final 6 seasons, and we still need to win 4 more Stanley Cups. 4 more Stanley Cups over the next 6 seasons. Clearly, we need some more offensive firepower, and I know exactly how we're going to get that. Meanwhile, Hino, a 930 and a 208. Nothing more you could have done. Now, you remember how I said I was going to use that medium league potential player we drafted last season in order to move up? Well, I'm not going to do that anymore because the only thing that we can move up for are these 2 offensive defensemen because there's no way I'm trading for the 1st overall or the 2nd overall. So yeah, I guess we're going to hold on to that medium league potential player for 1 more season. Yeah, I think my drafting luck is officially gone. A lowly potential defensive defenseman who's only a 50 overall. Yeah, I think we're in a lot of trouble moving forward. As much as I want to stay positive, we just haven't been able to get those superstars in the draft. Our scouts have been taking a ton of seasons off. Like, bro, what is this? I guess I'll go with this medium bottom 6 potential player because he was the only guy we scouted for some reason. So we have $16.1 million in cap space, and I don't even know how we should spend it. Like, Whittaker, I don't really want to bring you back to the team, but if we don't have anyone to replace you, I think I'm kind of forced to. But then again, I think there are some extensions we have to hand out, and I don't want to have his $13 million on the books. So next season is going to be very, very scary for the boys. I think there's a chance that we don't even make the playoffs. Even though we have elite scoring, I don't know if our defense is going to be good enough. Now, the only major player that needs to be re-signed is going to be Ekblad, but we can't do that right now. So yeah, let's just head to next season, I guess. Actually, there is 2 other things we should do. 1, give this goaltender right here a 2-way contract. But 2, sign our future goaltender. Because Hino, cut to the chase, bro. Your career is over. So we're bringing in Oleg for the future. We'll sign him to a 4-year deal. I think $7.7 million is pretty fair for him. I'll actually do $8 million for the next 4 years, and you can be our number 1 moving forward. Now, if things weren't bad enough for the Redwater Rams, we're just going to start getting worse over these next couple years. Maddox Schultz is regressing. Whitfield's probably regressing as well. He's 34 years old. We know Ekblad's regressing. He's 35 years old. This team will actually be worse next season. Whitmore's 33. We are riding into the sunset with a lot of these players. Hino isn't even the starting goaltender anymore. That's how you know we're in the trenches. We are deep, deep in the trenches right now. Age is catching up to our team. It's only a matter of time before we're missing the playoffs. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to recover in time in order to win a Stanley Cup. Like, if we want to win another Stanley Cup, we have to do it right here, right now. We have to stop wasting seasons, because that's what we've done in today's video. We have wasted seasons. When you are first in the entire league, you have to capitalize on that. When you have the best offense and the best defense and the best goaltending, you have to capitalize on that. You have to go on a deep run in the playoffs, and you have to show everyone what you're about. And we haven't done that. We have just shown the rest of the league that when you push us over, we are not going to get up. We are just going to stay down. We will never fight back. And that's what Redwater has done since day number one. Since season number one, this team has never fought back. If we blow a 3-0 series lead here, I'm going to end the video, but we don't have to worry about that. We're moved on to the conference finals. 8 wins away. We're taking on the Wildcats next. I believe we can take down the Wildcats, but we need to win 4 games. Win me 4 games, not 5, not 6, just win me 4 games right here, and then we can move on to the Stanley Cup final. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. We're moving on. We are back in the Stanley Cup final. We haven't been here very often in today's video, but now that we're here, we might as well win. We're taking on the Halifax Hunters. We might get swept. We lost the first 3 games. We're not winning 4 in a row. We're down in 5. This is what I mean. The best team in the entire league, by the way, and we just folded. You pushed us over, and we said, we're not even going to bother getting up. We're just going to lie down. We are going to put no pressure on anyone else. We won 10 more games than the Halifax Hunters this season. When it comes to regulation wins, we won 13 more games. We scored almost 40 more goals than this team. We allowed 30 less goals. Basically, in every metric, we were better than them. But yet, it just doesn't matter, because when the playoffs come around, we will somehow find a way to lose. Even though the numbers look good from a lot of our players, and even though the goaltending numbers look not bad. Okay, these goaltending numbers do not look good, and Hino, I guess you were the starting goaltender, but you just played your final season with the team. I just want to give a big shout out to bro. He won 630 games in his career with us, 65 shots, a 913, a 248. You were good, but you just weren't good enough. How many Stanley Cups did you win with the team? You won these 2 right here, and I believe you won one earlier in your career. Like, you only won 3 Stanley Cups with us. That's just not good enough. For the amount of time you spent with the franchise, you should have been able to win way more Stanley Cups than that. So Hino, Hano, whatever I want to call you, I'm just going to call you fraud, because that's what you were. A complete and utter fraud. Okay, I also have to bring up something else in this video, because this has been bothering me as well. Why is there only left wingers? I feel like I have drafted a million left wingers today, and that is because the only players available are left wingers. I don't know why that's the case, but yeah, it just seems like it's only left wingers available for selection. Like, very rarely do I bring in a medium league potential player that's not a left winger. We're pulling off this deal with the Fort Wayne Outlaws, so we're going to be receiving the 4th overall pick. And with the 4th overall pick, guess what we're bringing to the team? A medium league potential sniper who is also a left winger. However, they are an 83 overall, so they're going to be a big help to our lineup. Also, if a medium league potential forward wasn't enough, here's a medium league potential goaltender. It looks like my drafting skills are officially back. Watch this be the final good prospect I get. Okay, we might be on an absolute heater. Another medium-league potential forward. We're going to be trading him next season. We might be able to bounce back sooner than I thought. Okay, it's just hit after hit around here. Another medium-league potential goaltender. If we can trade these players away and get 2 top 5 picks next season, then we might be able to win another Stanley Cup. I'm just kidding. We're never winning another Stanley Cup. This team doesn't know how to win. So Ekblad will bring you back for one more season. You're 36 years old right now. I'll give you 14.2 million. I feel like you've earned that contract. So at 35 years old, Maddox Schultz is officially looking for a contract extension. 17.6 million for one season. There you go. I'm not even going to negotiate with you. You've been a key player for so long. I feel like I should just give you a blank check. Now, for the first time in this video, in year number 20, the top line has +5 for line chemistry. The second line has +5 for line chemistry. We have never seen line chemistry like this before. So that could only mean one thing. we are guaranteed the Stanley Cup final. At this point, I'm just trying to correlate whatever I think will lead us to a Stanley Cup. So good line chemistry, that has to lead us to a Stanley Cup. A brand new coach in the past, that definitely has to lead us to a Stanley Cup. A new goaltender, that has to lead us to a Stanley Cup. Whatever I see that leads to success for our team is what I'm correlating with Stanley Cup wins. And you know what has allowed us to win Stanley Cups in the past? When I simulate the entire postseason with the face cam off and I just commentate over it. We don't look at regular season standings or stats, so we're trying that again. Has that method been perfect in today's video? Absolutely not. But it did lead to us winning back-to-back Stanley Cups, so maybe I should try to go back to it. So Redwater, you know what you have to do. Actually, you don't know what you have to do. What you have to do is in this 7-game series right here, win 4 games. And then you're going to move on to another series, which you have to win 4 games in. Then you'll move on to the conference finals. Once again, you have to win 4 games. And then you move on to the Stanley Cup final, where once again, you have to win 4 games. Now, when you're trying to win those 4 games, at the very max, you can only lose 3 games. So you see how you've already lost 2 games in the first round? You can only lose 1 more game moving forward. So now you basically have to win 4 games in a row. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose in the first round. Luckily, we're winning 4 straight and we're moving on. But yeah, we lost the first 2 games. Now moving into this next round, what you have to do is win 4 games, but at the very max, you can only lose 3. You're winning the first 2. Can we make it the first 3? It's actually going to be a sweep and we're moving on to the conference finals. So once again, 4 wins, at the very most, 3 losses. So let's win game number 1, or I guess we could drop that one. We can also lose every game apparently. Okay, we got swept. I said you can win 4 games, not lose 4 games. And you lost 4 games in a row. Dog, you can't make this up. Detroit's going to win the Stanley Cup. We won 61 games this season. The difference between us and the second best team in the entire league, the gap was so wide it didn't even make any sense. We were first with 61, Kitchener was second with 51. 10 games separated us from Kitchener, 15 points. When it comes to the Detroit Dragons, where did they end up finishing? 11th in the entire league. We had 17 more wins than this team. Like, you cannot make this up. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Riverside Guardsmen, we actually swept them. I forget who we lost to in the conference finals. Was it the Maine Marauders? I don't think so. It might have been the Brandon Bulls. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. The Fort Wayne Outlaws, it doesn't matter. I completely forgot who we lost against in the conference finals, but it doesn't really matter. The Armadillos, but they ended up losing to Detroit, so it doesn't really matter. When it comes to our postseason stats, they're numbers, and that's about all I can tell you. Goaltending has taken a massive step back over these last couple years, but is it really goaltending or just our defense? Because our defense also isn't nearly as good. 4 more seasons left, 4 Stanley Cups, and if we don't win 4 over the next 4, then we're certainly not winning 5 in our last 10 seasons. Now it appears a disaster has struck. Maddox Schultz is retiring on us. We need to find a replacement for him incredibly quick, and I think the only way we can get that replacement is trading for the 4th overall. So we are going to throw the biggest package possible at the Waterloo World, and we are going to pray that they're willing to accept this deal right here, and thankfully they are. So we're receiving the 4th overall pick, and with that pick, we will bring in a playmaking centerman. They're going to be able to replace Maddox Schultz, except not really, because you don't replace a guy like Maddox Schultz. Players like him don't come around too often. Now, luckily, Ekblad is going to be sticking around for 1 more season, so we're not losing him on top of Maddox Schultz. But yeah, we have $43 million in cap space and basically nobody to spend it on. Now, when it comes to extensions moving forward, I'm not even worried about cap hits. Whitfield, here's 12.7. I know for a fact that we can afford that. Heiskanen, how much are you looking for? 18.3 million. We'll try to get this as low as possible, but I'll bring you back to the team because I know for a fact I'm not going to have a better replacement than you. So how about we do 16.5 million for the next 6 seasons? You can return to the team as well. Crane, I'm actually willing to give you a pretty big deal here. You want 4.7 for 1 season. I'll do 4.7 for 2 years. Like, we need some decent overall players on the team, so I'm actually willing to overpay when it comes to a handful of players. Now, without Maddox Schultz, this team just does not hit the same. Like, they are just not the same team without Schultz. He was a staple for a long time with us. He played his entire career with the Redwater Rams, and through his loyalty, how did we repay him? A lot of Stanley Cup losses and a lot of first round exits. We did nothing to repay that man. It looks like we have an 87 overall goaltender who's going to be our new number 1 this season. Dog, you could be a 99 overall and still fold in this 0 overall league. It really doesn't matter who you are or what you are. If you're on the Redwater Rams, it'll only be a matter of time before you're somehow corrupted. Like, there is a curse with this franchise, a curse that has lasted over 20 years so far, 21 years to be exact. And that curse has led to a lot of first round losses and a lot of Stanley Cup final losses and very, very, very little success. Okay, things are serious enough where we're just simulating the postseason. I'm turning on the face cam because something happened this season that, in my opinion, makes absolutely no sense. Like, we have seen a lot of really, really stupid things happen in today's video, but what just happened this season makes the least amount of sense possible. We just swept the first round. We are 4-0 so far. This shouldn't be happening. Like, by absolutely every metric, there is no reason what just happened should have happened. Like, I just want to remind everyone, we lost Maddox Schultz. Maddox Schultz left the team, so we lost one of the key guys we built our franchise around. One of the cornerstones is now gone, and we didn't replace him. I mean, we sort of did replace him. We replaced him with the 4th overall pick, but still, you don't replace a guy like Maddox Schultz, but apparently you can. We are 8-1 heading into the conference finals. We have lost 1 game so far. We might even sweep the conference finals, but we're going to be dropping game number 4. We're about to be 12-2 entering the Stanley Cup final. Here we go. It all comes down to 4 games against the Tennessee Titans. Can we take down the Titans in a 7-game series? If we win 4 more games, we are Stanley Cup champions. We have a 3-1 series lead. All it takes is 1 more win. We won 64 games. That's what doesn't make sense. 64 games is the most we've won so far in today's video. We just had the best season of the entire video once Maddox Schultz retired. We just had the best season ever in 2047. I mean, it's not the best season of all time, but for Redwater, this is the best season they've ever had. It doesn't make sense. Like, we lost Maddox Schultz. We lost a cornerstone of this team, and we were better because of it. I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, I'm actually gonna crash out. It doesn't make sense. This goaltender, really good. But you're telling me if I got rid of Maddox Schultz 15 years ago, we might have seen more success. Why did Maddox Schultz hold us back? But I shouldn't even say Maddox Schultz held us back. Why did we just see significantly more success without him? It's Maddox Schultz I'm talking about, not some like 70 overall bum. No, a 95 overall player. Once he left the team, we took over the league. I have nothing to say. Like, nothing to say whatsoever. Redwater's winning a Stanley Cup, but I'm actually low-key mad that we won. I didn't think I would ever be mad at a Stanley Cup victory, especially with the Redwater Rams, but I am right now, because in no universe should we be here right now. Also, we don't have any forwards or goaltenders retiring, so Ekblad, I guess you're coming back for 1 more season. Okay, this is actually so clutch. With the 96th overall pick, we're getting a medium league potential player. I'll trade him away next season. We'll move into the top 5, and then we'll be able to bring in 1 more rookie for our final couple seasons. Also, you missed it because I wasn't able to show it in time. We got a low league potential player with the 224th overall pick. With the last pick in the draft, we got a low league potential player. No, that's a come up story I want to see. So I guess we'll keep on bringing in guys for 1 season. Ekblad, welcome back to the team, 9.9 million. And then with anyone else who's willing to sign a 1-year deal, I'll bring you back. All right, so we have extensions to hand out, and I'm basically just willing to give everyone a blank check. Like, we have $63 million in extension dollars. We can bring back whoever we want. Tikkanen, I'll give you $14 million for the next 8 seasons. Actually, I'll do $14.1 million. Welcome back. Low, how much are you looking for? You're probably going to want like 18. Yeah, I can do this. Of course, I do want to save some money, so how about 15.3 for the next 8 seasons? Welcome back to the team. Para, I'll bring you back to the team as well, except you only want to sign a 1-year deal, so I'm going to hold off in order to sign you to a multi-year deal. Bloomquist, how much are you looking for? 8.1. Yeah, low is actually going to be the last extension from now. Para, I'll sign you at a later date. So heading into last season, expectations were so low it was ridiculous. Like, we didn't have Maddox Schultz on the team. Clearly, without Maddox Schultz, this team's not going to be able to see any success. And then we won a Stanley Cup. Still haven't really processed how that happened because it doesn't make any sense. By every metric, we shouldn't have won last season, but we did. So that means heading into this season, Redwater is looking to repeat. Well, let's repeat for the second time this video. Then let's three-peat and finish the video off with a four-peat. The goal is to win 5 Stanley Cups over the next 10 years. We've won 2 so far. We have 3 years remaining, so it's still possible to win 5 Stanley Cups over the next 10. Now, before we start this postseason, I just want to remind all of you, it's the same team as last season. We are virtually the exact same team as last season. So just keep that in mind when we eventually lose in the first round. Like when we lose in the first round, it's actually comical because this is the exact same team as last season. But watch us lose. So we won 49 games this season. That's about 15 less wins than last season. Now, why on earth did we take this big of a step back? I couldn't tell you, but we're third in the entire league. Maybe it's age catching up to our players. I couldn't tell you. But last season we won 64. This season we won 49. And it's all the same players. Like, Ekblad must have taken a pretty big step back. And you know what? I can buy it now. He's an 82 overall. Age is catching up to a lot of these guys. Whitfield's dropped to a 90. Okay, I'm actually going to give this team the benefit of the doubt for once, because a lot of the guys did regress. And there's nothing you can really do about that. Age is catching up with this team. That's about it. That's all I have to say. Age is caught up. You can't beat Father Time. You might be able to beat NHL teams, and you might be able to beat goaltenders with shots, but you can't beat Father Time. He will always catch up to you, and he will always come out victorious. So we have 2 years remaining for Redwater. We're not finishing with 5 Stanley Cups in the final 10 years, but maybe we can finish with 4. So I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is Ekblad is retiring on us, but I think we all saw that coming. The good news is that player that we drafted in the 3rd round last season, well, he's up to a 78 overall, so I guess we don't have to trade him away. He can just jump into the lineup for us. But when taking a look at this team, man, we are in a very bad spot right now. Considering we just won 15 less games, I wouldn't be surprised if we missed the playoffs next season. Now, with this being our second last draft, this might be the last medium elite potential player we see in today's video. Chris Wang, you're not going to develop in time because you only have 2 seasons, but you could go down as a legend since you might be the last elite potential player we draft. So I'll just go ahead and re-sign everyone that I have to. We have more than enough cap space. I'll see you at the beginning of next season, and hopefully we can finish this video off with a bang. 2 seasons decides the fate of the Redwater Rams. Can they finish this video off with 2 more Stanley Cups, or are they just going to go down as the biggest failed dynasty of all time? Honestly, even if they win 2 Stanley Cups in a row here, I do think they go down as the biggest failed dynasty in NHL history. Because we have to understand, top 5 for basically 20 years straight. Once we get to the 25-year point, we have been a top 5 team for 20 years in a row. Over those 20 years, we've won what? 4 or 5 Stanley Cups. I mean, in reality, as an NHL fan, I think you would take 1 Stanley Cup every 4 years or 1 Stanley Cup every 5 years. So when you look at it that way, I guess it's not too bad. But when you consider how much better we have been than everyone over the past 20 years, the past 2 decades, you would think we would have seen a bit more success. Now, I feel like it's not that much of a surprise, but the Redwater Rams are taking another step back this season. So for the first time in 20 years, we're not going to be top 5 in the entire league. The fall off is here. Not only is the fall off begun, the fall off is here and it is affecting the team big time. More than likely next season we're going to be even worse. Whitfield's back up to an 88 overall. Why do I think he was lower than that to begin the season? I don't know. I can't remember everyone's overall now. We have a handful of guys that are aging out on us. The team's not quite as good. Like, just look at Liam Klingberg. There was a point in time where he was a 50 goal scorer, and it really wasn't that long ago. In 2044 he had 50 goals. He had 29 this season. So even at 27 years old, he's somehow regressing. No, the team's just not what they used to be, plain and simple. 2 years remain, 2 more chances at another Stanley Cup. I need to walk away with at least 1 more. Like, I'm sorry, but we just can't go out like this. The boys can't completely fold when it matters most. I need 1 more Stanley Cup. We're dropping game number 1. Please win at least 1 game in this series. I'm not even that confident we can get out of the first round. I think there's a very good likelihood we lose in the first round, but more than likely that's not going to be happening anymore now that we have a 3-1 series lead. Then again, what is a 3-1 series lead? We could easily blow one of those, and that's exactly what we're doing. We have game 7 elimination coming up, and you know what? I can't be bothered anymore. I'm not even jumping into game number 7, and it's probably a good thing I didn't, because I would have lost my mind when I saw us lose 2-0, meaning we went back-to-back games without scoring a goal. We got shut out in back-to-back games. So season 24 is officially done. The next time you see me is going to be at the beginning of next season. You don't need to see the off season. You don't need to see anything we're doing. Let's just head right to next season and see what this team's going to be able to do in their final year. So here we go. It's the last dance for the Redwater Rams, and man, is this team washed. Over the years, we've just lost a lot of really good players, but during this team's prime, man, were we a stoppable team. Not unstoppable, but very, very stoppable. Like, we were stopped more times than not. So with this 25-year rebuild coming to an end, at least give me a second round appearance. Whatever you do, just don't lose in the first round. That's not how I want to end today's video. Now, Redwater is giving me hope in this final season, and I hate that. A 57-19-6 record, it's the hope that kills you. It always has been. Since day one until the final day, it will always be the hope that kills you. And right now, the Redwater Rams, they have some hope heading into the postseason. We just won the President's Trophy. The President's Trophy curse has definitely never affected this team, but here we go. Year 25, the final run. Now, we have been through a lot of lows with this Redwater Rams team. Not many highs, but a ton of lows. And we might be experiencing one last low. We are down 3-1. At one point, we were down 3-0. Are we going to get a high of making the comeback? No, we aren't. The video's over. Okay, what a way to end it. So just like that, the 25-year rebuild has come to an end. And wow, we saw like zero success. When it comes to all-time seasons played, Declan Ekblad, he's going to lead the way with 21. He played 1,722 games. When it comes to goals, Rob Whitfield, 697. Assists is going to be Maddox Schultz, 1,156. Points is also going to be Schultz, 1,776. Ekblad's also going to lead us in penalty minutes, 1,243. And then Heno, whatever you want to say, 630 wins and 65 shutouts. Wow, this was such a disappointing video. We reset the NHL to a 0 overall league. And over the next 25 years, we rebuilt the Redwater Rams. And we won not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but only 5 Stanley Cups. We should have been able to win more. Like, we really should have been able to. This team had so much potential, like the most potential in the world, but somehow, some way, we still couldn't do it. We couldn't step up when the lights were the brightest. We kept on breaking our sunglasses. We were continuously blinded by the bright lights, and that led to a lot of disappointment. So much disappointment that we only won Stanley Cups in 20% of our seasons. It should have been like 40%, maybe even 50% for how dominant we were, for how long. This team was capable of so much more. But at the end of the day, there's only one man that can face the blame, and that's me. I built this team. I drafted every player here, and clearly the players that I drafted didn't have that dog in them. They just didn't have the ability to step up when the lights were the brightest. So that's on me. I couldn't find the superstar prospects. I couldn't find the players that could be game changers for us. So if there's anyone that has to face blame, it's me. And I'm going to take that one on the chin. Redwater, I'm sorry, but I failed you guys. I mean, I'm not going to take the blame for all the first round exits though. That's on you guys. We won President's Trophy after President's Trophy and still lost in the first round. That's not on me. Those losses are on you guys.